Good morning. If Athleisure was a radio show, this would be that radio show. Bo Bishop, a dignified man of leisure.
My wife will try and drag me to like an Easter brunch buffet, and I don't even like that because I don't like everybody standing over food I'm going to eat.
Friends with the highest intellectuals.
We found out the hard way. We have white furniture. That's all I'll say.
Best.
Oh, God. Holy
Literally.
An athlete, coach, husband, and father.
That drives me nuts. My kids say, I'm him. Shut up. Kidding me? You're 9. You're not him. I don't even know what the hell that means.
And two guys who are considerable downgrades from a former football player.
They always thought that they were the friends, and I always thought that the guests were the friends.
No, it's the listeners.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
So funny. We don't need a former player. Hey, you know what? What if you're both? What if you're a friend and a former player? I'm still a friend. You can keep Bishop and Friends. I am still a friend.
All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. Paul Finebaum stopping by at 9:33. Lots to get to in terms of this AP Top 25, how the 12-team playoff is going to change college football. We're getting closer, kids. Getting very close as we inch towards the end of the month. 2-a-days are in the AFC South. So we're going to spend some time with our buddy Landry Locker. CJ Stroud. Is he ready to ascend? I heard Scotty Vegas in the Action Update talking about him the second choice to win the MVP in the National Football League. That is coming fast for CJ. We will check in with the Texans and CJ coming up in the 10 o'clock hour. Your emails at 11 o'clock, a little bit 11:15. We'll hit you with a little bit of higher or lower. And then potentially, a very big press conference at Ohio State. We had Austin on. This was 2 Mondays ago, and he and I have been doing the quarterback timeline dance for 6 months or so, it seems like. And I finally pinned him down in terms of when he thinks something ought to be named. And the date he gave is today. This is the day that he gave. In fact, in The Real Truth, I think last Tuesday, we said The Real Truth, Ryan Day will name a starter by August 15th. And I kind of settled on no, that there's nothing that is. At the time, I was thinking, well, there's nothing that forces him to do this. Like, he could let this play out a little bit further, and it could go another week or so if they want. However, it feels like today is Happy Will Howard Day. That's what it seems like to me. And it's not just kind of just the sense of August 15th, and maybe Austin did know something. Knowing him, he probably did. But there's also just kind of, if all of the pieces matter, follow the breadcrumbs, if you will. Whether you listen to the players talk, you listen to Ryan Day and his availability, or if you follow Ohio State on social, you're starting to see more and more with 18 being featured in this. So it feels like we're heading towards that. If not now, when? Seems like today could be the day. We'll carry that press conference for you at 11:30. I don't even know if there's much suspense to it anymore. It feels like a foregone conclusion that it's really just a matter of time before Will Howard is named the starter. Could be today at 11:30. I think that would be the safe bet.
And the 15th makes a ton of sense, too, because if you look at the calendar, we were out there 2 weeks ago today, and that was August 1st. So then they play on August 31st. So you get to basically split training camp in half, where you do have the quarterback competition. Everybody gets all the reps. And then you get the second half of training camp to go, hey, this is our starter. This is where we're going. And then if they do name a starter today, then I expect Will Howard to get the lion's share of the first team reps, which he's already getting by most accounts. Obviously, we're not seeing everything, but we got a lot of good looks those first 4 days of practice. And I think that's what Ryan Day's plan was, to just enter a little bit of training camp, at least, the last 2 weeks of it, where you do have a stabilized starter. Because they tried this last year, where they ran it out through the whole course of training camp and then into the regular season. And I would say overall that experiment was a failure, and I wouldn't want them to do that again. So I'm hoping that they can do that and move on and focus on this is our starter. But as we've talked about many times, the other quarterbacks are still going to get work in practice because they have approached this entire season, the entire offseason. They've talked about the possible 17 games in depth. Everybody on the 2 deep is probably going to play this year, including quarterback.
I don't feel like doing a whole lot of work the last hour of the show, or really the first half hour, or the second half an hour. So,
when am I going to get work out of you?
I'm just going to call it out.
10 to 10:30. And then 11 to 11:30?
Tentative 11 to 11:30, because I want to call out those bums at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. If you're not on time today, 11:30 is when it's scheduled. Hear me now. You better be on time. You better.
Damn it.
It'll be 11:30-ish.
Is there a chance that they are more on time since all three are talking?
No.
You get Day and the two coordinators.
Are they all
today.
at the same time, or are they going to go Day first? And
That'd be a hell of a thing if they had three podiums up there with three microphones.
My guess is since it's just coaches,
Jim Knowles would have a quiet morning if that were the case.
I bet it's the meeting room where like Ryan Day does his Tuesday presser and they all three just cycle in through that.
Yeah, I think so. To take you behind the curtain, we will break early. So normally we break at 11:28. Right around there is when we'll break, and then we're back around 11:32, 33. We're going to break early to make sure that we're back at 11:30. How much dancing you want to do? That's fine. I can dance all day long on this thing.
I thought you didn't like dancing.
No, I don't. Not since I got married, I don't. But I can verbally dance. That I can do. Here's what I would say on this as someone who, and all of us did, observed what we saw in spring and observed what we saw in the practices that were made available. If there is any sort of perception, and I certainly haven't seen it, but just to head it off before it starts, that Will Howard was handed this job, that's utter nonsense. That is utter nonsense. He had to earn a black stripe in the spring, despite them going out and getting him and paying him a bunch of money to come here. And he had to earn his black stripe. He was the number 2 quarterback in most of the drills all spring long. He transformed his body over the summer. He came back in great shape. Even the first practices we were at, Chopper, it was a split between him and Devin. Mm-hmm. Julian got in a little bit, but it was kind of an even split between the two of them. Maybe a slight lean Howard, but not much. And so if he has started to take over the last couple of weeks, you go back to the comments from Chip Kelly, Ryan Day in the spring, where the room will know. If you just listen to what these guys are saying, the room knows. The room knows that Howard's going to be it. So I think that's a really important part of this, is this notion that Will Howard came in here certainly as a chosen guy. It was the guy Ryan Day wanted. They poked around with Dylan Gabriel. We know that. They poked around with Riley Leonard as well. They settled on Howard. They brought him in. They got him compensated, but he had to earn the job, and he had to prove it to his teammates. And it feels like that's happened over the course of the last couple of weeks. And my sense is we're going to get an announcement today at 11:30.
Yeah, and on the notion of the room knowing, we've heard from so many players this year. We talked about how the open practices was unprecedented for college football. It doesn't feel like anybody else cross country is doing this currently or has done it before. And the way they ran their preseason pressers with all those players, every position had the entire room out there, including freshmen and everybody. So we heard from a ton of people. And one of the big things that stood out, especially we played that Denzel Burke cut. I think that was on Monday this week. And he's really forthright. He tells the truth. He tells it how he sees it.
Yeah, and he's a real truth arbiter.
And he's not the only person who said this, but when he says it, it's like, okay, it's definitely something that the team has noticed. He talked about how Will Howard is better and more acclimated to the offense and ready to lead this team than he was in March during spring practice. And that has kind of been across the board. And I think you saw it when we were there out at practice. And so that's good that he improved and he took those steps that they wanted him to take, because that's why they went out and got him, because they saw a guy who has a lot of really good raw talent, a lot of experience, and bring him into Ryan Day and the Ohio State finishing school for quarterbacks. And maybe you have something here. And I think, he has taken over the starting job. We'll see at 11:30 if they finally announce it and we can stop rehashing this.
Was it Tuesday in the Real Truth, Reese, where I hit you guys with the 4,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000?
Yes.
It was Tuesday. So we reached the national championship game in the college football 25 last night. I should say I reached it. It was NC State was the opponent in the national semifinal, and I was like, well, I want to see what this is all. Noah Rogers, by the way, had himself a game. Like former Buckeye receiver, he had himself a game. They threw it around a little bit. I ended up beating him 56-21. And the crazy thing was it was a struggle to beat Louisiana. It was a really struggle to beat Penn State in the previous 2 rounds. But the thing that jumped out to me is two. Number one, if they're going to hand out these trophies, I assume the game is accurate, but after you win the quarterfinal, you go celebrate with a Fiesta Bowl trophy. Then you win the semifinal, and it's in the Orange Bowl, and they give you the orangest thing. And I'm thinking, are they really going to do this? Every time you advance in a playoff, are they going to hand you you've gotten another round? Baseball does this a little bit, but it's so anti-football to go celebrate a quarterfinal. Or, I don't know. I assume that's their plan, or it wouldn't be in the game. I'm sure they've researched it, so I'm guessing that's the case, but it's weird. And then after every round, they say you're invited to play in the semifinals. You're invited to play in the final, like it's a bowl. It's the damnedest thing.
Yeah, it's a bracket. It just feeds into it. You don't even decide which
No.
I wonder, we haven't seen that for sure yet. Is the bracket automatically feeding into games, or are they going to switch the games around depending on which teams are in there? Like, is the Sugar Bowl going to go, oh, we'll actually take the SEC team that's in there, and so on and so forth?
Well, the other semifinal was, I don't know that. I should have looked at that. The other semifinal was Ole Miss and Notre Dame, for God's sakes. And that game they played in the Sugar Bowl at night. So we were the afternoon game in Miami, and then they were the Sugar Bowl at night was Notre Dame and Ole Miss. And I'm playing Ole Miss in the national title. Me and the boys are.
The other weird thing about that is, I guess I never really thought about this in the 4-team playoff, but it was only 2 trophies. So wasn't that weird? If you win the national championship, you're going to come home at the end of the day with 3 trophies?
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, think about the Woody Hayes, the entrance with all the trophies. Like, everyone's going to have 65 Rose Bowls, 65 Oranges, 65 Sugar Bowls.
Well,
like,
not everybody, but the best teams.
The best teams are. Yeah. No, it's weird. It's really strange. So I did back to the statistical thing. I'm like, I wonder how we ended up here. So I went and looked at it. So going into the national championship game, because we had to play an extra game because we lost the Big Ten championship game on the last second to USC. So we had to play. We're going to play 7. We played 17 games, which is way too damn long. And I'll never do it again. But you get there. Will Howard was like 4,200 yards passing. Both Quinshon Judkins won the Heisman. He was around 1,400 yards. Right now he's around 1,400 yards rushing and about 1,000 receiving. He's about 900 receiving. Throw to the backs a lot. Henderson's at like 952. So he's close, and he missed like 4 weeks, and he's really close. And then receivers, there's 4 receivers right around 900. So if you get to, they're all over 900. So if you get to that 17th game, I think you're going to kind of stumble into it. It's just so many games to be played. Like, we're just not used to it. I'm telling you, like, just playing a stupid video game, it's exhausting how much longer it goes. Like, when you start wrapping your head around the Michigan game and then potentially you've got 4 more games to play, it's daunting to wrap your head around it. We're in for it. We're not prepared for it. Imagine what the stats are going to look like for a team that, say, has a good quarterback and a star wide receiver and makes it to maybe the semifinal or something. Advances. There was a lot of guys to spread it out. I'm saying, like, is there a star on a team, and are they going to advance? What's that guy's like? Are we going to have like a 2,000-yard receiver? Yes. At some point? Yeah.
Like Ollie Gordon for Oklahoma State. Like last year, if it had been like the 12-team thing, maybe Oklahoma State's an at-large, because I think they got waxed by Texas in the Big 12 title till like he's rushing for 5,000 yards or something.
Yeah, I mean, all of those individual things are going to get obliterated. Those single-season record stuff, the passing yardage.
Yeah, we've seen how much going to get just adding one game to the NFL has done to those records. Now you're talking about adding 3.
Yeah, no, it's going to be absolutely nuts. It's one of the many things that the 12-team playoff is going to change. But there is one thing that is going to change, but I don't know if it will or if it'll just feel different, and it's in respect to one particular Big Ten team. We will get into that. Paul Finebaum coming up at 9:33, off and running on a Thursday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic. Oh, yes. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, friends, Brandon Beam over here for my great friends over at Wendy's. And Wendy's new Saucy Nugs, well, they're here. That means the best nugs in the entire game are now even better. You can choose between Wendy's iconic crispy or spicy nugs covered in bold, flavorful sauces, including buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, and even spicy ghost pepper. Eat them with a fork, eat them with your hands, eat them for lunch, eat them after midnight. There's no wrong answer. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers, like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
We go to war for you. This is attorney Robert Scherger. Have you been hurt in a truck accident? Don't settle without speaking to me. Call us at Scherger Schnara Trial Attorneys, where we go to war for you. Results matter, and we're here to help you fight for justice. Call 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com. That's 877-WAR-FOR-YOU or visit warforyou.com.
Warforyou.com. Hey, it's Bobby. When it comes to tackling a project as important as your roof, you want a company that cares about the product and experience they're going to deliver. At Newman Roofing, you're more than just a number. They believe in 100% customer satisfaction. And for your roofing needs, give them a call at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
Giant Eagle and Market District have deals for school days. Find the savings you need to start the back-to-school season. Return to your routine and save big in the process. Over 1,000 items with incredible low prices throughout the store. Deals for days. Visit your local Giant Eagle or Market District today.
We don't talk politics on the Fan. It's divisive, fear-stoking, and negative. That's what our social media is for. Or your crazy uncle's house, or the grocery store, or you get my point. The Fan, Ohio's politics-free destination.
Hey, Buckeye fans, ready for the chance to win one of 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences? As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. We're talking tickets, sideline passes, a trip for two to the Oregon game, and exclusive access to the Ryan Day Coaches Show. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 winners. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Bobcat Enterprises is your family-owned partner for landscaping and construction projects since 1975. Find great deals on our full line of Bobcat equipment, including a 36-month, 2,000-hour full warranty on Bobcat compact track loaders and skid steers. And right now, get financing as low as 0% for 48 months on select equipment. Build local. Stop by Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, or Zanesville to find current specials, or see our full line of products at bobcatent.com today.
Hey there, I'm Brad. I'm about to win the Tuesday Night Bowling League Championship. Strike. I'm also a highway worker for the Ohio Department of Transportation. When you move over and slow down, you're not only giving me room to work, you're making sure I can bowl the winning strike with my buddies.
Roadside workers have lives and families, but when they're on the job, they put it all on the line to protect and serve us. When you see flashing lights, remember, they're not just roadside workers. Thank you for moving over and slowing down.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Increasing clouds today with a high around 87. As we go through tonight, we are looking at a cloudy sky with a low 66. Tomorrow, scattered showers, high 87. And then on Saturday, isolated showers with a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Not interested in Iowa football? Too bad. Shops will tell you about it anyway. This is Bishop and Friends.
Hey there, friends. It's your Uncle Bo here. Low testosterone can cause a host of problems. Low sex drive, bad sleep patterns, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, brain fog, and more. But many men just attribute these symptoms to aging and don't consider that there are medical treatments that can give them their life back the way that they wanted to. I was one of these guys. I didn't have the energy that I used to have, was having trouble sleeping. That's when I found my friends at Tri-State Men's Health. They're the experts in treating low testosterone and other men's sexual health conditions. They successfully treated many men for low T, including myself, and men have seen amazing differences. I have seen an amazing difference. The sleep has been an absolute game changer. In addition to that, just more energy to run around and chase the boys. So here's what you do. If this sounds like you go to tristatemenshealth.com. You take that low T quiz on the website. It's a simple 10-question quiz. Yes or no. Take a couple minutes. Schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health. They're going to do your lab work, have your results in about 30 minutes. Licensed medical provider is going to review your results with you, discuss your options. They're going to make the decision together with the medical team. The cost of the appointment's $99. Now, if you decide to sign up for the testosterone treatment that day, that visit is going to be free. 2 locations here in town. Quick exit off 270 in Hilliard, No Medical Mile in Westerville. 800-900-9654, tristatemenshealth.com for more on that. I was thinking about this 12-team playoff, and there's a perception. Well, let's pop quiz. if you guys were to name the one team in college football that feels like it's benefiting most from this, from a 12-team playoff, or one program who wanted it most, which program would you identify?
It's Penn State.
I was going to say Florida State.
Yeah, well, Florida, both are good.
Too. I like that one.
Those are two good ones.
Because you only get one from the ACC.
Yeah. Florida State got, in the eyes of some, jobbed a year ago. You can understand it. And Penn State. Penn State was the one that I was going for from the perspective of for all of their 10-2 success, they couldn't turn it into anything in the postseason because they never got to the dance. Hell, even in the year that they won the Big Ten, they were on the outside looking in. So they are looking at the 12-team playoff as an olive branch to success, right? They're unrivaled. But if they get into the 12-team playoff, then who knows what could happen. The interesting thing to me about this is, will anything really change with Penn State? Yeah, they're going to go 10-2. They're going to get to the playoff. So what? They get to host one game, and it maybe host a game. I suppose that would be really cool for them to host an SEC team or an ACT team or Group of Five or somebody like that in Happy Valley in December if they do get to 10-2 and they are a home field. But is it really going to change the program? And the reason that I say that is the talent gap. I think there's this notion that the 12-team playoff is going to help the teams that are the Penn States and Wisconsins in years past, or some of the SEC teams that have been on the outside looking in, whether that's Tennessee. It seems like that's rare for an SEC team to be on the outside looking in. People even think sometimes that some of the Big 12 teams or Group of Five teams, I don't know that's going to help any of them at all. I think if anything, it's going to go the other way, and it's something to watch for, especially in the SEC this year. Take a look. You guys mentioned Florida State. If you go ask people in Athens, they're going to say, I'm pretty sure we were the best team in the country last year. We lost one time to Bama in the SEC title game. That's it. That's the list. And we got left out a year ago. Guess who's not getting left out again? Georgia. They are not getting left out. Have you guys taken a look? Have you guys seen Kirby Smart's record versus the SEC since he's been there?
What is it, like 6 losses?
He has not lost to an SEC team not coached by Nick Saban since like 2020.
That's pretty good.
Crazy list of things that they've only lost to Saban and Bama. That's it. That's the list. They haven't lost I want to say something to the effect of, you haven't lost to an unranked team since 17. I'll find the exact stats for it, but it's one loss. So it's going to help Ohio State. It's going to help Georgia. It's going to help Alabama. It's going to help Oregon. It's going to help Texas. You can stumble now and get back in. You're not going anywhere. For all this notion, it used to be that, like, man, even Georgia last year, 12-1 ain't good enough, guys. We know you're really talented, but it's not good enough. You lost the one game that you had to win, and so you're on the outside looking in. They'll never be on the outside looking in again, ever. They're always going to get an at-bat. So this notion that, like, the Penn States of the world are going to rise up, or Tennessee's going to rise up, or the Big 12 second-place team is going to get in, maybe in some instances. But what it's going to also do is give the most talented teams more at-bats. There is not going to be that sense of urgency with a loss that there used to be. Quite honestly, Ohio State could have 2 losses this year, and I'm not wishing that on anyone. Don't you speak that bit, Ricky Bobby. But you could have 2 losses this year, and you're still getting in the playoff. Georgia could lose twice, maybe 3 times. They're still getting in the playoff. That's happening.
Because the 12-team playoff expansion creates more opportunity for more teams, because you go from 4 to 12, it technically increases across the board everybody's chance to win the national championship. But I think that percentage increase is very low. We know that there's certain benchmarks you have to hit to be a national champion in the playoff era of college football. We'll see if the 12-team playoff makes any difference. I do think there are going to be some surprising upsets, but I don't think that team that pulls off the surprising upset is then going to win 3 more games and go all the way to the national championship like a wild card Eli Manning New York Giants team. College football just isn't built that way.
Not built that way.
Georgia, though, because we're talking about Penn State, the other thing that makes me think I don't know if Penn State's going to change as a program is because they took the opportunity of the Big Ten getting rid of divisions as a way to run away from Ohio State and Michigan and say, we're unrivaled. We don't want them on our schedule, or either of them on our schedule every single year. And that to me says, hey, man, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And the Ohio State and Michigan are the man right now in the Big Ten. Maybe Oregon joins that club as well, but they didn't choose them as a rival either. But that does help them out going divisionless, because now they don't have to play Ohio State and Michigan every year. Georgia, well, I think they'll be fine because they could probably go 9-3 and still make it in a lot of years. 8-4 is probably the market where you're looking for like Georgia going out. But their schedule gets harder now because they don't get to a little bit hide in the SEC East.
No,
which is something they've gotten to do. I mean, Florida went down, and then who has been on Georgia's level?
Well, they haven't played Alabama in the regular season every year, and so Florida. I mean, they needed Tennessee to elevate, and Tennessee never elevated. So you're right. I mean, you're talking about Missouri and Florida historically, Vanderbilt. You're talking about Kentucky, Tennessee,
South Carolina.
They just were not on the level that Georgia was. So no, they won't. But they won't have to. Is I think the reality is that 9-3 out of the SEC. You're going to go.
Especially with a G on your helmet. That's going to...
Because everyone's going to know the talent.
Because, I mean, we know where they're going to start in the rankings every year. This year, 1. So they have a lot of benefit of the doubt to even drop some of those games. But, yeah, the schedule gets a lot harder for them. They're at Alabama. They're at Ole Miss. They've got at Texas.
They're at Texas, too.
They're at Alabama, at Texas, and at Ole Miss. Wow.
Yeah. All 3 on the road. And, again, if they win... I think they can lose 2 of the 3, and they're probably still going to go. I mean, that's the reality of it. So the margin for the teams at the top, you're going to benefit greatly in this thing, is the way that I think it's probably going to shake out. So this is going to be a fascinating year. It's going to be here before we know it. We're inching closer. But I think it's funny, you see all these simulations with the video games that all these people are playing online, or you watch your kids play, or the one that we're doing, and you see these strange teams in there. And I don't think that's how it's going to play out at all. I think that there will be, you have to remember, folks, this is a completely subjective process. And when it comes to subjective, you're going to believe your eyes. That's what happened last year with Alabama. They believed Alabama was a better team. Florida State had a better resume. Florida State had injuries, and the committee said, well, we believe Alabama's better. And that's what they did. And this whole thing's going to play out the same way. The only thing that are finite are 5 highest-ranked conference champs. That's finite. That part you know. But other than that, it's going to be completely up to the eye of the beholder, which is going to be a fascinating thing to try to sort through. Paul Finebaum up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Your morning just got beefier. Morning Juice with Beamer, Bobby, and Shark.
Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
While the world whizzes by, enjoy a moment of me time with Tim Hortons $6 breakfast bundle. Savor a small hot or iced coffee. Then add your choice of a mouth-watering hot breakfast sandwich and a crispy golden hash brown. And your pick of a classic donut. Yeah. All for $6. All just for you. Make your mornings all about me time with our $6 breakfast bundle. Available at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. Price and participation vary. Terms apply.
Spectrum delivers with fast and reliable internet. And with Spectrum One, you get even more. Spectrum Internet, so you can work, game, and stream with speeds up to a gig. Plus advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced security and one Spectrum Mobile unlimited line, both free for 12 months. Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and mobile. Get it all together with Spectrum One. Starting at just $49.99 a month. Visit Spectrum.com for full details. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Restrictions apply.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place. And aspiring comedian.
That's fun. What's your best joke?
All right, 2 windows were hanging out side by side. The first window says, "Sure is a hot day." The other one says, "Ah, a talking window."
That's pretty good, Wilson.
Bet you can't top that one.
Well, at Pella, we don't have the talking windows, but we do have the windows your friends will talk about.
Dang it, that's good.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted at PellaColumbus.com.
Billiards Plus has everything for the master griller in your house. Come to their showroom, open the lid, and feel the difference in their grills. Professional top quality equipment at great prices with a huge selection ready to go home with you. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Wendy's new Saucy Nugs come in 7 saucy flavors. Yep, you can literally hear your taste buds going. Taste bud sounds may vary. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
Do you feel that? The season is getting closer. Buckeye football comes your way in 16 days. Every game, every season. Proud to be your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio Ohio sports destination.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
All right, here's what's up on a Thursday edition. Efforting getting Paul on the phone here shortly. The topic of conversation, I'm curious from his vantage point, are a couple of things. We anticipate today being the day that Will Howard will be named the starter. Ryan Day with the press conference today around 11:30. We will carry that press conference live for you. The question with that becomes, how good does Will Howard have to be for Ohio State to have the ultimate success this year in a season where there is no margin for error, in a season where if you don't win the national championship, you're going to feel pretty hollow with the way that this season goes. We've never had stakes quite like this coming off of the last couple of seasons. And so we go on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline conversation. Our good buddy Paul Finebaum of ESPN joining us now. Paul, I'll pose that question to you. We kind of sense that Will Howard's going to be named the starter here this afternoon, early mid-morning here around 11:30. Ryan Day with the press conference. How good does Will Howard have to be for this Buckeye team to reach its ultimate goal of winning a national championship?
I don't think he has to be elite because of everything that is around him. I just think he has to be maybe more than serviceable. I remember we used to use that line a couple of years ago with Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
I never thought he would be good. He won 2 straight national championships because he had compliments like Will Howard has. So, I mean, I think it's easy if you're a pundit from a distance saying, hey, that's the biggest weakness Ohio State has versus Georgia, and that's really where the comparisons are because Georgia may have the best quarterback in the country. But as long as he doesn't make mistakes, as long as he can move the ball, I think he will be good enough. I'm not sure I would have said that in a 4-team playoff, but certainly where we are right now.
Yeah, you mentioned Bennett. We've used that analogy before a little bit with him, and it feels like one that seems a little bit appropriate. Stetson Bennett had a clutchness to him. When in his at any point were you like, okay, now I see it? Because that was a tough sell when Bennett finally won that job. That for the fact that okay, this is going to be the guy. And as you mentioned, he won 2 straight national titles. What in him did you see, and at what point did you see that maybe there was a chance that there was more to him?
There were several games. I mean, we're talking 4th down plays, critical moments where you just look down and go, what in the world are we watching here? Because I mean, Bo, I'll be honest, I never thought he was that good. I was in shock that Kirby Smart would pluck him Because we had just gone through that at Georgia, if you remember, with Jake Fromm, and you probably do remember Justin Fields. I mean, and I always felt like get Jake Fromm out of there. But Kirby has his way, but it was really the clutchness. It was the big moments, and it's very standard for college football. Can you make the play? I mean, I've even seen that with Jalen Milroe last year. Like there was a play they replayed it yesterday against Texas, I think, and he was literally down, and all of a sudden he gets out of the pocket and he throws a touchdown. I mean, those are the plays that define quarterbacks.
They certainly are. You mentioned the 12-team playoff. I was just talking about this in the previous segment. I think the team up here that feels like they're going to benefit most from this is Penn State, because they've gone 10-2, lose to Ohio State and Michigan every year, and be on the outside looking in. And now they think they're going to get a shot at the dance, and that may get them a home round playoff game if they can be 10-2 and kind of stay at that point. But I don't know if it turns into much more than that. And the point that I was making, I'm curious your thoughts on it, is that honestly, teams like Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, Oregon, Alabama, historically, those teams that have the most talent, Paul, I kind of think they're going to have an even bigger margin for error. And I think of Georgia a year ago, obviously they would have been in a 12-team playoff. They probably would have been favored in every game that they played had they got in there. What do you make of this notion of more people are going to be let in versus these most talented teams now have a bigger margin for error?
I think no matter who you are, you're going to look at the brands. I was interviewing Gary Pinkel yesterday. What does that mean? He's on the CFP, and I was trying to open him up a little bit. But I know Gary Pinkel, and Gary Pinkel is going to look at James Franklin with probably the same bias that we do. Like, hey, what has he done? And I think that happens when you get a groupthink mentality, which is exactly where we are. That's why you normally see them over the years go with Ohio State over someone else. Last year, Alabama over Florida State. And I think that will happen again. And James Franklin just can't avoid it. It's not even the fact that he loses the big games. It's the way he loses. I mean, I still can't get that Michigan game out of my mind last year. The fact that Michigan said, "There's no way we're going to lose this game. Why even put the ball in the air? Let's just run it down their throat. And if we have to, we'll win 3-0."
It's the damnedest thing. He does that in the Ohio State games. I mean, he refuses to. He's got this Aller kid who can spin it, but he won't let him throw it down the field. And no, I'm with you. It's such a passive approach. It's hard to wrap my head around what he does over there on a regular basis. Back here in town in Columbus, with what we think will be the Will Howard news today, and then so that question is solidified. You mentioned Ohio State and Georgia. From your perspective, from a national perspective, as you look in on this Buckeye team a couple of weeks from playing its first game, what do you make of the pressure on Ryan Day? What do you make of this roster? And what do you make of the offseason that the Buckeyes have had?
I don't remember any school in recent memory, because we really have never been here before, having a haul in a short period of time like Ohio State did back in January. And I know it was on top of some other big commitments. As far as the pressure on Ryan Day, I mean, I'm part of that pundit gallery that gets on there, and when you're on an ESPN show and the questions are, is this make or break for Ryan Day? You don't want to equivocate, so you say yes, but, and it always comes down to the same thing. It's something that your callers talk about every day of the week. It's the Michigan game. I don't think that's a big deal this year. But I mean, even if Ryan Day were to lose to Michigan this year, there's still a way out, and that's to win it all. It's very similar to 2 years ago, but I wouldn't try the combination of losing to Michigan and getting bounced early in the playoff. I think that's the deadly combination, and we all know the record. I don't need anybody calling me saying, you realize Ryan Day is. Of course, everyone does, but at some point, you have to cross that bridge.
You mentioned the losing to Michigan. I mean, theoretically, this year you could see Michigan 3 times if you're Ohio State. You could see them end of the year here in Columbus. You could see them the next week of the Big Ten Championship. Theoretically, you could see them in the playoff as well. We've never dealt with that around here before, the thought of having to play that game again. You haven't had to deal with it directly, but you have experienced a situation where Alabama loses the Iron Bowl and still wins the national championship. How are people down there handling the idea of, and this is probably not the year for it, but the notion of Alabama and Auburn playing in the Iron Bowl, playing the next week in the SEC championship game? Although, I guess, do we even know what the SEC tiebreakers are at this point? Where are people, I guess, with all of that?
It's pretty confusing. I remember a number of years ago, Alabama lost to Auburn. And that used to be, hey, you hang your head in shame for 52 weeks. That's that kind of stuff, which you understand up there. Alabama won the title, and I mean, I don't think I ever saw anybody make one mention of, hey, as an Auburn fan, we beat Alabama. Nobody cared. It just did not matter, and that's the world we live in right now. I mean, I hear it every day on our show where Alabama fans are trying to beat their chest. Hey, we beat Georgia last year. That doesn't matter anymore. And that fan, the only thing that matters is what you did last. And if you can win the national championship, the path is irrelevant. I mean, I realize you can't lose very many games, but you can overcome that. And I mean, look, just go back to, was it 3 years ago? Alabama beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. 5 weeks later, Georgia beat Alabama. Only the Finebaum callers of Alabama were still bragging, "Hey, we split with you guys." No other fan base would say that.
It's very much an NFL thing we're going to have to get used to around here. They still have those great rivalries, but the last thing you remember is who won the Super Bowl, and everybody else is kind of wanting for more. Great stuff as always, my friend. Thanks for your time today.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, the great Paul Finebaum, the Paul Finebaum Show, ESPN, SEC Network, SiriusXM, joining us on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Yeah, rivalries are going to be different. I like what he said there about the last game is the one you're going to remember, and that is such a different mentality in college football because for the large part of the last decade or so, the last game, unless it's in the college football playoff, is largely forgettable. Even the ones you have success in. I mean, who out here even remembers what happened in the Missouri game in the Cotton Bowl? I mean, we know it because Devin Brown went out, and we pay attention to it because we watch it every day. But like the public at large, how closely do you even remember that game? There are games that we have played. There's a Rose Bowl game against Utah. There's a Fiesta Bowl against Notre Dame in the last decade.
Cotton Bowl against USC and Sam Darnold.
And you're going like, did we really play in that game? Like even us as guys who watch it all the time, Reese, we're not watching it as closely.
I remember the Cotton Bowl was on my phone. I was at a Jackets game. I was like, this sounds, and feels unserious in the lead up. So I'll see you on my phone, and then we'll react afterward.
Yeah, which is why I thought it's weird that I've seen it a little bit, some consternation about why is Georgia number one? Why can't Ohio State be number one? And it's like, we've talked about the AP poll matters as long as you're in that upper echelon, which Ohio State is. And the only time that the one matters is at the end of the year. Don't worry about it. Who cares if you're number two? It doesn't mean there is no difference between 1 and 2 now in college football.
No. No. Go win the Big Ten championship game, get that bye, because I think there's value in that, and then that's it.
Although,
that's it.
Like, if you don't make the Big Ten championship game, there's a bye. And then the next week,
that's true.
If you're playing FCS or if you're playing Group of 5 Boise State, that's not necessarily a bye, but at the half, can you play your second teamers?
Will there be a 10-1 team that chooses to lose their last one and hope that 10-2 gets them into the playoff, but also puts them out of their conference title game because they don't want to play a 12-0 behemoth on the other side?
All of that's in play. It's crazy, but it's all in play. The Browns and Vikings had joint practices yesterday. I was there. I will tell you what I saw. We'll go over the Mike Hall situation as well. Browns choosing a very curious way to be able to handle all of that. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
This season on Nada Yada Island.
You were charging your phone? I waited hours for you.
That's how long it takes.
Join Metro and get a free Motorola Edge that'll charge for the day in 15 minutes. At Metro, there's no activation fees. Only at Metro by T-Mobile.
Bring your number ID and sign up for Metro Flex Plus plan. Offer not available if at T-Mobile or have been with Metro in the past 180 days. Requires 68-watt charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $219 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
With approved credit. 2024 Sentra SV FWD 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go.
The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
And this summer with Zumbizi Bay, Central Ohio's largest water park. Take your last ride on Dolphin Dash before exciting new things come next season. Soak up the sunshine and dive into an unforgettable experience for the whole family. Zumbizi Bay offers nonstop fun for everyone. Enjoy $19.99 admission after 4 p.m. Get your tickets now and make your final splash at zumbizibay.com.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keep making plans to learn more.
When your job demands more than just hard work, trust Timberland Pro, the brand that defines superior comfort, performance, and durability. Built on a legacy of craftsmanship, Timberland Pro provides boots and apparel that stand up to the toughest challenges. Our products are as resilient as the skilled men and women who wear them. From the workshop to the job site, Timberland Pro is there with you every step of the way, blending innovation with time-tested quality. Discover why professionals choose Timberland Pro. Always do, never done. Visit timberlandpro.com or your local Timberland Pro dealer.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Right Way Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And a Truckle Bow here, and I'm proud to tell you about my friends at Diamond Cellar. Whether you're popping the question or ready to say I do, there's only one true jeweler to shop for your one true love. And as true jewelers, Diamond Cellar not only has designer luxury collections to suit your bridal needs, but they also have talented in-house designers who create something truly special and one of a kind just for you. Truly one of a kind. For more than 75 years, guys. I mean, not by accident. 75 years, you're doing it right. Their expert staff has been caring for couples just like you and provided the absolute lowest prices guaranteed. Diamond Cellar. Check them out. Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, diamondcellar.com for more on that. So yesterday was the first of the two most important days of training camp for an NFL team, and in this instance, it was the Cleveland Browns. So I was up there. I took in the practice and watched the Browns and the Vikings go through things. These are more important, and all of the teams are doing this. They're all doing it. You're doing these joint practices in lieu of putting the onus on the preseason games because it's a controlled environment. So it's just like a practice, except the Vikings are going against the Browns. So, for example, just to paint the picture for you, on one field you had the Vikings first-team offense going against the Browns first-team defense. The Browns first-team defense was without Denzel Ward. It was without Jordan Hicks. It was without Dalvin Tomlinson. It was without Zadarius Smith. It had Thornhill. It had Delpit. Emerson, without Greg Newsome. So like 5 guys who are going to be in their starting 11 in nickel, they were without. On the other field was the Browns offense versus the Vikings defense, ones versus ones. So this is happening simultaneously. So truly the only way that you could kind of watch them both, it did seem like they were timing up the snaps where you would get one full play here, whistle, one full play here. So they weren't like running concurrently exactly, but pretty close. If you stood in between, you could watch them both, though.
I was going to ask, does Kevin Stefanski do like a 180 and then snap 180 and then he's just kind of, or do they put him on a platform he can just rotate?
He just stays behind the offense. He doesn't move. He just stays behind the offense, and Jim Schwartz handles the defense from the Browns' perspective. Same thing was true of the Vikings, like Kevin O'Connell handled the offense. I'm not even sure who the defensive coordinator in Minnesota is, but he just handled the defense on that side of it. So a couple of things. First and
Brian
foremost.
Flores is the DC. For
there you go.
Yeah,
I know him well. Yeah, all right. So here you go. Despite missing 5 starters, the Browns defense overwhelmed the Vikings. Overwhelmed. I mean, they could not get a pass off. They could not execute anything. One thing I saw in individuals that was really cool was Martin Emerson going up against Justin Jefferson time and time again, and they kind of split their battle. Jefferson would get one, and then Emerson would break one up. Like Emerson was game for it. And Justin Jefferson in person is a stunning thing to watch. You just aren't used to seeing somebody that fluid. And he's one of those things where like you just see him walk out there and you go, that's a dude. Like you don't even need to see the number, nothing. You could just see him walk. You could see the visor and you'd be like, yeah, that's a dude. You could tell. And they handled each other very, very well. But the big story was the Browns defense, and they're chesty. And at one point, Kevin O'Connell did go over to Jim Schwartz and say, hey man, like, what are we doing? A little bit much, because they were pick sixes and they were woofing and chest pounding, and the Vikings couldn't operate. I mean, they could not operate in any way offensively. And Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy out. So we got that news yesterday afternoon. I believe you had that, Chops, that was the case, that there was more to that. And you called that out yesterday. And sure enough, that's the way that played out. And so they were kind of rudderless anyway. It's going to be a long year. And Justin Jefferson's lucky he got paid, or he's happy that he got paid. He deserves to get paid because he's going to get targeted a lot, but that offense cannot move it.
Yeah, the Lions were already there last year, but there is a seed change happening in the NFC North completely. Like it is, and that one. I mean, but the Packers are still good, so it's going to be really interesting in that division. But on the Vikings, yeah, I mean, based on what I saw, even with all the injuries, read about what people saw. The Browns defense did a really good job against the Vikings. Maybe Justin Jefferson showed up, and then on offense for the Browns, they're still looking for a left tackle because they're all hurt, and it doesn't sound like those guys are great right now. Some of the writing that's been done in this is wildly inaccurate based on what actually happened. I found as someone who was actually there and watched it. One last thing on the Vikings offense: Christian Darrisaw is one of the best left tackles in the game. He had no chance against Myles Garrett, none. I mean, at some point, like it was just like, okay, like I guess we can't operate. Like they were trying to have him go one-on-one. They would then put a running back. They would shift a guard over. He would just wreck. And quite honestly, Mike Hall, who we'll get to in a second, he had 3 sacks because they were trying to double-team Myles, and Mike just right through every time. He left with a little injury, though, too, at some point in practice, right? Yeah, he did. He went down with an injury. I don't think it's thought to be serious. Whether he should have been there or not is a conversation that we'll have here briefly in a second. Offensively, the first half of it was really strong for the Browns offense. There was a deep ball to Amari Cooper. There was one to David Njoku, really sweet seam ball that Deshaun Watson threw to David Njoku, hit Elijah Moore on kind of a big crosser. The first team off, now by design, a lot of it was quick because left tackle is a problem. So a lot of it was quick, but they did get a couple of deep shots. And I think the first half of the Browns offense was pretty good. I mean, there wasn't much that you could quibble with. I thought Watson's first probably 15 minutes and 11 on 11, the one whole period. I mean, the only beef you could have is he was a slightly late on one throw. And Judy's still not there, right? No, he played yesterday. Oh, he did play yesterday? Jerry Jeudy was there, and at times was absolutely dominant in one-on-ones. That's really good. He would break away on one-on-ones and not have a chance. Okay, so Mike Hall practiced. Okay. So the charges... The initial accusation happens, was it Tuesday? Yeah.
Monday night, the incident, Tuesday.
Monday night. Tuesday night, you become aware. Those charges eventually were filed as a misdemeanor charge. We have seen the police report, so you know what is alleged. You know what he has now been charged with. This is why I think this is so difficult to try to talk about. I think it's the most difficult thing for sports talk radio guy to talk about is issues of domestic abuse because, and you talk to people in law enforcement, it's the hardest thing to prosecute. It's the hardest thing to prove. It's really tough. The Browns decided to have my call practice. I think the mistake that they made was the person answering for it should have been Andrew Berry, not Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski should not. That is a front office decision to make that call, and it probably should have been AB doing it, the general manager of the team. I don't necessarily think ownership needs to answer for something like that, but you at least have to say Stefanski's answers were basically we're going to let the legal system play itself out. That's the way it's going to go, and so that's where it stands on it. I certainly understand it's an emotional issue, both sides of it. I certainly understand the look of it, of having him out there after what was in that police report. Understand that as well. I just think the mistake they made is there needed to be a little bit of better explanation other than we'll let the legal system play it out.
Feels like something where he probably should be on the shelf right now, not cut or anything, because, yeah, you do want to let the legal proceedings play out. But if he practices and then you get into the season and he starts playing and then he's found guilty, that's where I think you get into a really sticky PR situation for the Browns. But I don't know what the right decision is because you do have to wait to see about it. It does seem pretty damning, the evidence and police report that has been reported on. But that's from the side of the people filing the police report. We don't know what the other side sound like and what the court case is going to look like. So, yeah, to go along with you, it's just so hard to parse through these things. And not only what is the truth, but like combining the two stories, because the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. And we haven't heard really from Mike Hall yet, like what his
nor do I think you will.
I will not.
Well, eventually in the court case, like they'll hear about it, and then we'll.
I don't think it's going to go there. I bet it doesn't even get there.
You think it's just going to get resolved and dropped?
Yeah, I do.
And I wonder if that's what the team is thinking. But to your point, like Stefanski and Jim Schwartz, like they just here's who's available, and they go, all right, well, I'm going to play them. Because that's their job. They play who's available to them. And I thought it was interesting yesterday they're asking Stefanski about it. And I understand you have to ask the question of someone in what would be considered Browns management. But, yeah, Stefanski's just it's weird for me to see that. And, yeah, to you, I was like, well, maybe if Barry's out there answering that question, I don't know if he's going to say much more either. But it probably was the wrong choice to have Stefanski doing it. But, yeah, as a Browns fan, I don't love it. However, it does need to play itself out.
Hour 2 coming up next. Two-a-days, AFC South. CJ Stroud, can he stack an MVP in your year 2? We will get to that, some perspective as well. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Are Men and Bone stupid in real life? Yes. Yes, they are. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
August may seem like the end of summer. It also means the beginning of a lot of things, like back to school, festivals, football. At Buckeye Lake Marina, it means the August savings days are upon us. Get huge discounts on all of the new and used boats that they didn't sell. Every pontoon, tri-toon, sport boats, even fishing boats are ready for you. Save thousands on demo models that have been used all summer to show off amazing features. Some have never even been in the water. Take advantage of the August savings days at Buckeye Lake Marina. Their summer hours continue through the entire month of August. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for details.
Hi, Bob and Teresa Capaccia here. Anniversaries are a big deal and meant to be celebrated.
Join us for our 24th anniversary at Worthington Jewelers. Enjoy 10 to 60% off to celebrate this event, August 15th through the 17th.
Worthington Jewelers, your local hometown jeweler.
You never know if the person next to you in line is a McMuffin, a McGriddles, biscuit, or burrito person. But what you do know is that every last one of us in line for our McDonald's breakfast this morning were brave enough to get out of bed a few minutes early.
Right now, get a $2 breakfast sandwich like a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit or sausage McMuffin with egg, only in the app. Offer valid one time per day from 7/29 to 9/1/24. Participating McDonald's must opt into rewards.
Hey, it's Bobby. When it comes to tackling a project as important as your roof, you want a company that cares about the product and experience they're going to deliver. At Newman Roofing, you're more than just a number. They believe in 100% customer satisfaction. And for your roofing needs, give them a call at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
Summer may be slowing down, but the deals at Vivid Seats haven't. Whether it's scoring MLB tickets for a night at the ballpark or locking down the biggest matchups for the upcoming football season, Vivid Seats has you covered. With the only rewards program in the game, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats has something for every fan. Catch the deals you want for the games you crave, all backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers, and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Ohio State is 16 days out from Akron. The Buckeyes host the Zips on Saturday, August 31st. Ohio State starting quarterback for that game could be announced today. Head coach Ryan Day is scheduled to speak with the media around 11:30 this morning. When that actually happens, well, you'll hear his comments live on The Fan as soon as he takes the podium. Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles are also expected to speak after practice on Thursday. In the NFL, the Falcons have confirmed their acquisition of four-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Matthew Judon from the Patriots. That's in exchange for a third-round draft pick in 2025. Preseason play continues on Thursday as New England hosts Philadelphia at 7. On Saturday, the Bengals are at the Bears while the Browns take on the Minnesota Vikings. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. BMI FCU, your best credit union 6 years in a row, has 47 financial coaches to help you on your financial journey. Visit bmifcu.org/coach for more info.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Second hour here on a Thursday, 11:30, about an hour and a half from now, press conference at the Woody, where we anticipate Ryan Day will name a starting quarterback. We'll see. It feels like it certainly is heading towards that end, I would suggest. A couple of things on the NFL side of things. We were doing two days in the NFC South a couple of days ago. We had the Falcons guest on, and he was talking about the one weakness they had was at defensive end and pass rush. And I said, well, what about Judon or Reddick, one of these guys who potentially could be available via trade? And the guest wasn't sure they'd be able to make it work under the cap. Turns out they did. So Matthew Judon is going to be a member of the Atlanta Falcons. That's an instance where, hey, this is a need. He doesn't want to be there anymore. They don't want to pay him. Let's go. The reason I thought about that was you have to think about the ownership of it. You have to think about Arthur Blank. Like, he felt like he should have a Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. And so he's aging. What do I got to do here to make this happen? And so these are billionaires who don't get told no much. And I thought they'd be very aggressive on that play. By the way, speaking of, I believe we had that, Chops, you had the J.J. McCarthy yesterday. Exactly the way it would play out. That was a fishy one. The way that it was an injury over the weekend.
It was fishy on Tuesday even, and then it got fishier on Wednesday, and I was like, he's out for the year. This is just them being hopeful.
I can tell you, talking to people with the Minnesota organization yesterday, outwardly, they may say, hey, no big deal. We were going to redshirt him anyway. We're fine in the long term. But internally, devastating. J.J. McCarthy was going to get the first team reps in the joint practices with the Browns. That was the plan, was for him to get the first team reps. And now he's not going to get those first team reps. And that's certainly a real one on that side of it.
That was the part that stood out the most, is how important the joint practice was. And they were like, we're not sure. He's got some knee soreness. We're not sure we're going to bring him to the joint practice. Yeah. And it's like, you bring a rookie quarterback to the joint practice.
Did you guys watch Two-A-Days episode 2?
I did.
I did not.
Or is that not Two-A-Days? Not Two-A-Days.
Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks. We're doing Two-A-Days, or we're about to.
Is that what the old high school one on MTV was called?
It was. Yeah. My buddy produced that, the one at Hoover, Alabama. He produced that. And that's when he called me there, and he's like, as they were winding down Two-A-Days with Hoover, Alabama, he was like, dude, we got something in the kit in the hopper, and it's called the Jersey Shore. And it's going to blow your mind. And sure enough, it did.
A cultural moment.
If you watch Hard Knocks, and if you don't think Caleb Williams is going to be a stud, I can't help you. I mean, he comes across so likable, so good. The throws that he makes are tough tough throws, the angles. It feels like the Bears finally they haven't had a quarterback ever, Sid Luckman. It feels like they got one.
And watching it, too, it made me realize, man, I mean, I thought they were kind of ridiculous at the time, but I didn't know Caleb Williams, and I still don't, but you're getting a lot more access to him. Because there's been people who have been like, oh, he paints his fingernails, or like, look at how he cried with his mom over on the sideline after they lost. And it's like, I don't know, he just comes off as kind of like an easygoing, sensitive California kid, but he's really good at football, so I don't care if that's his personality, because it seems like people like him, and he's likable.
His teammates like him.
He's likable on the show, and he's also really, really talented. And $25.5 million for a signing bonus, pretty nice.
He's a Maryland kid, isn't he? Didn't he grow up in Maryland?
Did he?
East Coast? I think so. And then ended up at Oklahoma before transferring to USC. I think he's an East Coast kid.
That's right. He might not. So it might not be a California thing, but he's definitely just like a more sensitive guy than you might see from a football thing. But it doesn't bother me at all.
No. He
went to Gonzaga College in Washington, D.C. for high school. Why can you call high school college? How's that work?
That's all those ones about D.C. It's like Georgetown Prep. It's all of those.
Yeah.
That's the way that they go. All right, 2-a-days, AFC South Texans, hit it.
Bishop and Friends present 2-a-days. Our preseason look around the league. We may skip over
the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders,
but that's because they suck.
The Houston Texans don't suck. Remember a year ago we thought, oh my God, because of what they did, the Arizona Cardinals are going to pick first and second in the NFL draft. And then all of a sudden it was like, actually, they hit the mother lode. They landed their franchise quarterback and their franchise defensive end in the same draft. Couple that with D'Amico Ryans, who was a natural leader, guys who were already there like Nico Collins, Tank Dell, who can play, a defense that was already kind of on the come with Stingley and some other guys. You drop Will Anderson in there, you drop CJ Stroud in there, and away you go. You got a team that wins the AFC South, goes 10-7, beats the Browns in a playoff game, and then loses to the Ravens. And we're not quite ready for it in the divisional round, but they are clearly the team on the ascent. The question, I think, for them is this too much too soon for them? As I mentioned earlier, here's Scotty Vegas in the action update talking about CJ being the number 2 pick for MVP of the league. That's a lot on him. I would never doubt him ever, but that's a lot on him. And it's just a matter of, is this too much too soon for the Texans? Because they have no questions. They've drafted really well. There's been guys that have been on that roster who have been cultivated through the years. It kind of came out of nowhere last year. It won't this year, so that will hurt them. So I think, to me, the only question with them is, can they handle all that comes with this? Because they've usurped. Remember, this is supposed to be Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. They passed Jacksonville as the team of record in the South, and they've passed teams around the conference as like, hey, could they be the team that takes down Kansas City? So this is a lot in a hurry for the Texans.
Yeah, Stroud is now that new quarterback of the young group, and we'll see if he can stack those years. And you talk about picking up Stroud and Will Anderson in the same draft. Very important for them, obviously, with all those high picks. But then to also pick up a true, probably above average starter, I would say. Not a full-on dude yet, but in the third round, you get Tank Dell. That helps out CJ Stroud a lot. You got Nico Collins still there, and then picking up Stephon Diggs, who, he's probably in the twilight of his prime, but he's still a really good player. And this year, if you can get it, because, one, you're still on the cheap rookie contract with the quarterback situation. You've got a lot of talent on offense, and we saw what they were last year. If they can exceed on that and get better, and they will be a threat in the AFC. And I want them to do it this year because I wonder how important Bobby Slowick is to all this, because I think he'll be a head coach come 2025 if they have another year like they did last year.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be back in Houston this season. Like, it felt like one of those openings in the NFC South, and probably fortunately for him and the Texans, he didn't take one of those jobs. They got their bye week 14, but the first 13 weeks on that schedule is pretty navigable. The AFC South is... They're going to have some tough outs, but this team, and, I look at it like with Joe Burrow in his second year. Like, why not? Why not for this team right now?
Yeah, that was a Super Bowl trip for Burrow, yeah.
Yeah, they got Stephon Diggs, who's not who he used to be, but now he's their third receiver. So it's Collins, Diggs, and Dell. Remember when they drafted CJ, it's like, who's he going to throw to? Now it's like, oh, my God. embarrassment of riches.
It's one of the better
for him to throw
trios
to.
in the league at this point.
Yeah, they added Mixon in the backfield. If you look at it, too, like so many of their two deep, especially the starters, are guys they drafted. That's how you do it. They've hit on guys, and now they're ready to go, and CJ is going to benefit, and he's going to be a big part of it, obviously. You couldn't be happier for him. All right, let's hit the categories on the Texans. Franchise Mount Rushmore, Reese.
Is it premature for me to put Stroud up there?
He's on mine.
It's your Mount Rushmore.
All right,
He's
I got
on mine.
Stroud, J.J. Watt, Andre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins.
I had Andre Johnson as well. I always liked him, and he never had a great quarterback with him, and the Texans were so bad, but he was just great the entire time, and he kind of gets forgotten, I think, sometimes. I think that the Watt family is very much look at me, but I do have to respect what J.J. Watt put together there and all of the defensive players of the year. I just cannot put him on this list. I also still had Stroud because they've never really had a quarterback, and it's great that we're going over the Titans again today because Warren Moon is a Houston player, damn it, and he is not on the Titans Mount Rushmore. He is on the Texans Mount Rushmore, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's a curveball.
See, what do you do about the Houston Oilers?
Like threes. It's like threes. Like he's a man without a country, right? With St. Louis, with the Rams. I think that's kind of how
I think
Warren
see
Moon and those guys are. They're probably, my guess is they go back to Houston. Like, why would Warren Moon go to Nashville?
I would guess you are roughly 5 times more likely to see a Warren Moon jersey at a Texans game than a Titans game.
Feels like it. Yeah, it's such an odd thing. I went Johnson, Hopkins, Watt, Stroud. Those would be my 4. I left the Oilers guys off. Boy, if you want to have that conversation, you're talking about Earl Campbell and you're talking about Warren Moon. There's a lot of great ones with that organization. But it's kind of like the Seattle Supersonics guys, like Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, like they're men without a country. Did they land the plane with the alternate uniform, Reese?
So is it the All Reds?
So they have 2. They have the All Reds and they have the H-Town Blues.
Yeah, I think the B. I mean, I like how they did the horn on the helmet. Like, it's different than just having the logo in a different color. So, yeah, that's solid B.
I rated the H-Town Blues, so I gave that one a B. I like the blue color that they included in there, and it just stinks that they can't get their hands on the Oilers jersey, so this is what they have to do with. But at least some of the baby blue or close to it is working its way into it, so I like it. But they're not great because the Texans just, like, logoing just isn't that great in general.
Yeah. I think the red helmet is money. I wish that they would kind of go with that look. There's nobody who is, a longhorn or a steer or anything like that actually just uses the horns of the steer on the helmet, kind of like the way the Vikings do. I really like that red one. I think that one's really cool. And I think the H-Town blue ones, and I'll ask Landry Locker this. He's coming up at 10:33. My hunch is that was a pivot late because what they wanted to do, the NFL didn't allow them to do because of some absurd claims from the Tennessee Titans. That's my guess on that. I've never heard of such thing as a team owning a color, like all the shades of light blue the Oilers own. It's insane that they're allowed to get away with that. I'd buy this jersey for my kid. This is an easy one.
It's Stroud.
Yeah, it's definitely Stroud. Maybe a 3 Tank Dell could be fun, but it's Stroud.
Yeah, it's definitely Stroud. I think Bootsy has a Earl Campbell Oilers, and it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Win it all playoffs, building or tanking?
I think they can win it all.
That's where I put playoffs, but in parentheses, win it all, because we talked about the off ramp to tanking. This is the on ramp to win it all, and I think they could do that in the middle of the season. You're going to go, yep, full on contender. They are carrying it over year.
Week 16, December 21st. They're at Kansas City.
Oh, is that the one that goes against the CFP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the CFP game. I don't think it's like, hey, let's go win the Super Bowl. Like, if we don't win the Super Bowl, it's a disappointment. But I think it's probably like, hey, let's go win the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's really good. The roster's really good. Stroud continues to grow. I don't think that there's anything fake about him. So, no, they're definitely a playoff team. They're clearly my favorite in this division, and I would not be at all surprised.
They're winning the Super Bowls like, let's get another beer. Like, oh, hell, why the hell not?
Why not? We're here. The Tennessee Titans, this division has gotten significantly more interesting in the last couple of years. The Titans among those, a big sea change. No Mike Vrabel anymore. Will Levis and his mayonnaise in place. We'll get into all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
From the mind of a 2-foot-tall talking spokes puppet comes this year's biggest challenge. It's time for Bob's Dare to Compare, the hottest game show on TV that asks, what happens when you compare Bob's to the competition? You get style. You get quality. You get beeps and boops and dings and whomps. And thousands of dollars in savings. Everyone's a winner when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture. Now open in Reynoldsburg and coming soon to Polaris.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
Hey, it's Anthony here from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is rolling out all of his new Hondas at 2.9% up to 60 months. Just not including the Civic Si and Civic Type R, but all the other awesome new Hondas, 2.9%. You love certified? He has the dream deal. 0.99% APR for 36 months on the 23s and 24s, Civics, HRVs, CRVs, Pilots, and Passports. When you think Honda, you have to visit Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
We don't talk politics on The Fan. Instead, you'll hear us talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes, the NFL, food, family, and fun. We're your safe space, except when Common Man violates it by playing fart noises. The Fan, Ohio's politics-free destination.
You reached James. Leave a message.
Hey, it's Annie from Chase. Congrats again on the new home to you, Alina, and baby Maya. So happy she gets a big new nursery.
House hunting? On average, home buyers save more in mortgage fees with Chase compared to a non-bank. We're with you all the way home. Chase, make more of what's yours. Visit chase.com/wayhome. Source, 2022 Home Mortgage Disclosure Act. Loan application register. Home lending product subject to credit and property approval. Rates and program terms subject to change. Other restrictions apply. Member FDIC. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 roof.
If a friend asks how you're doing, and you say,
I'm okay.
When the truth is,
I don't want my problems to burden anyone.
Or you say,
hang it in there.
Because
if I ask for help, they'll just think I'm weak.
Then this is your sign to call, text, or chat 988 for free, confidential support. Anytime. You don't have to hide how you feel.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
In these final days of summer break, public school educators across Ohio are working hard to get ready for the school year ahead. We're all looking forward to welcoming our students back and to strengthening our relationships with our students, parents, and caregivers. When we all work together as partners in education, our students can thrive.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Whether you get pulled over or get into a crash, drinking and driving will change your whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Looking dry today, but the clouds will thicken up by the evening hours. 87 is your forecasted high. 66 overnight tonight. Tomorrow, scattered showers, high 87. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And, of course, we're sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without the medications. The solution for weight loss is Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Two-a-days continues. To Nashville we go, the Tennessee Titans. They took it about as far as you could take it with Vrabes and Tannehill and Derrick Henry, and now we have a full sea change for the Tennessee Titans heading into this year. They had tried to draft people around Tannehill. They kind of stumbled into Levis. It was one of those things where he just fell in the draft. Him and his girlfriend were like the stories of the draft, if you remember, like the fact that they fell into day 2. And it was one of those things where, like, he just keeps falling. Let's take him. And then he got in last year and was pretty dang good. And allows for them to, you've mentioned a couple times, this off-ramp into tanking, this off-ramp into now winning it all. The Tennessee Titans kind of got an off-ramp in their build, because I think that they were set to, like, tear the thing down and start over. I'm not convinced that if Mike Vrabel did not speak as glowingly as he did in the Patriots Hall of Fame induction thing that he took part of, that if he's not still the coach there. I think they were very comfortable with Mike and probably just would have ran it back with him as kind of the face of the franchise. Instead, they go in another direction. He butt heads a little bit with Rand Carthen, and so Mike is running routes with the Browns, kind of doing a year in observing before he's coaching an NFL team next year. So it's Brian Callahan who's in there, former offensive coordinator in Cincinnati. Probably his biggest addition was his dad as his offensive line coach, who's the best offensive line coach in football. It's kind of an interesting roster. Obviously, no Derrick Henry anymore. He was so much part of the identity of who they are. But if they can get a decent season out of Levis, they went out and tried to find him some weapons. So DeAndre Hopkins comes over. They get Calvin Ridley in free agency. Tyler Boyd as well. I'd forgotten that Tyler was there. So he's there as well. Brian brings him with him from Cincinnati. Treylon Burks is the guy that they tried to do the Justin Jefferson thing where you trade the receiver and then you draft his replacement in the same draft. They traded A.J. Brown to Philly and tried to replace him with Treylon Burks. That has not worked as well as it did in Minnesota. This roster just screams to me like 6 or 7 wins. That's just what it looks like to me going in.
Yeah, the Vrabel thing at the end felt like almost more personal than professional because he had last year was a little bit of a fall off, but we, like you're talking about, they changed quarterbacks. They say, okay, we're going for a different thing here. I think also what it came down to a little bit because it came shortly after they announced that they're getting a new stadium. I think they want to be more, they want to be sexier. They want a new stadium and open up and say, hey, everybody, come see the Titans. We're not just a ground and pound, give Derrick Henry the ball 30 times and Ryan Tannehill quarterback. Make sure the offense doesn't get off track. I think they're going for that more. If Will Levis improves, that's an aging but good receiving core, so I think it's totally within play. But yeah, you're right. They're just kind of a middle of the road team, but I think they are on the look up. So when we talk about that, like building, I think that goes both ways where you can look building, but are you close to tanking? I don't think that's where they are because they already have their quarterback. Now, if it turns out that Will Levis isn't very good and everything last year was he doesn't build on, then maybe they could off-ramp to tanking. But I think they're a lot closer to building to what the future of the Tennessee Titans looks like than they are to tanking.
Gosh, this feels like the roster looking at it, I think I said something similar, and I forget which team it was. Like, they could use a good tank, but with everything you just said, it's like this team can't afford a tank. So they're building, but should they be? Because, boy, they got Malik Willis and Will Levis in that quarterback room along with Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph. Yeah, it's interesting, Reese, because like the additions of Hopkins and Boyd and Ridley, typically you do that when you have like a veteran quarterback and you're trying to give them more weapons. I guess you're giving Levis
veteran.
Yeah, you're giving Levis the best chance for success. He was fine last year. He wasn't anything that you have to say emphatically, yeah, no question. He's the franchise quarterback. 58% completion percentage. He went 3-6 as the starter, 1,808 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 picks. That's what he ended up with last year, which is pretty middling, quite honestly. Like a quarterback rating of 84.2 is pretty piss poor in today's day and age when most guys hover around 100 on that side of things. So, but there was enough to give them a chance for hope, and they're banking big on him this year, bouncing back and continuing to grow. Yeah, I think that they basically were probably headed in a direction with Vrabel Vrabel made some comments, rubbed ownership the wrong way, so they go in another direction, and then they have this roster that's kind of a mishmash of, yeah, we're trying, but sort of. It's almost like if Levis is good, then they're prepared for him to be good, and then if he's not good, can they off-ramp it quickly? That'll be the interesting thing for them to me. I see no scenario where they're any better than they were a year ago when they were 6-11. 7-10 at best is what they look like to me. Let's hit the categories on the Titans. All right, Reese. Franchise Mount Rushmore, Tennessee Titans.
I got Derrick Henry, Steve McNair, Eddie George, and CJ 2K, Chris Johnson.
Those were the same four that I wrote down. It's a running back. It's a running back franchise. That's where they've had all of their money go. Chris Johnson just so fast. Eddie George obviously there during that Super Bowl run, and then Derrick Henry. We've seen him the last few years, and then R.I.P. to Steve McNair. Lost too soon, and I think I thought I heard. Are they doing a documentary on all that? Yeah, and how he was murdered. Yeah, it's crazy.
He was murdered by his mistress.
It's a wild story, and it kind of went away because I don't know. Maybe Tennessee Titans aren't everybody's interest, but now I'm very interested in that documentary.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, no-brainer. Eddie George, no-brainer. Steve McNair, no-brainer. I like the Chris Johnson poll. I'm going to go Vrabel here because when Mike took that job, you wondered, like, is that the right spot? What can that become? And then he maxed out Tennessee. Like, he created an identity. He created kind of the face of the franchise. He really was, as much as Derrick Henry, like him and Derrick Henry are kind of the faces of that operation for the most success they've had as a franchise, quite honestly, unless you go all the way back to the year that they're 2 yards away from a Super Bowl with McNair and with Eddie. Did they land the plane with the alternate uniform?
So these dark blue pants, kind of lighter blue top? Like what color? What
I think it's
kind of
probably the Oilers,
here?
honestly. The alternate's probably the Oilers.
The Oilers is an A+.
Throwbacks are an A.
They have one, where it's like I know what you're talking about because they basically have two home jerseys and they're not different in design. They're just different in the color layout, and that one is a C at best. It's very average, and I don't like their uniforms to begin with, so it could even be lower, but I went with C, I guess.
I don't know why they just didn't stay the Oilers if they love it so much. What difference does it make?
How many Titans are in Tennessee?
Right. I mean, what difference does it make? Just why didn't, if they love the Oilers so much and they're so fiercely protective of it, just keep it. So I don't like their attitude about it, so I'm going to give them an F on all of it because I don't like the way they're carrying themselves with it and the fact they're still trying to own all shades of light blue. I'd buy my kid this jersey. Reese, who do you got?
I guess you go with Levis, see what happens. He feels like he's pretty popular with the kids.
I talked about yesterday with Tristan Wirfs on the Bucks, how the 78, that connected to the number I had. Elk Pride never dies. Well, Nicholas Petit-Frere, he's number 78 playing tackle for him. He's a former Buckeye. I'll get that one.
I don't know if this counts for them or for the Houston franchise, but Bootsy does have an Earl Campbell. I showed you guys. It's gorgeous. So he does have the 34 Earl Campbell. I think NBC, who's 12 years old now, is kind of out of the jersey phase. He likes Kentucky hoops primarily, but I think he could talk himself into a Levis pretty easily. Also, he's very well aware of who Will Levis used to date and who he's currently dating, and I think all of those boxes check for NBC. So I think that's it there. Win it all playoffs, building or tanking for the Titans, Reese?
I guess building. This feels like, they're building.
Building, but week 9. We'll see if they hit that off-ramp to tank.
Yeah, I like that. I like the off-ramp line because I think I think you're right. I think we're building. If you're the Titans, you're building, but boy, if it doesn't go well, jump off quickly. Got a new stadium coming. We need an influx of talent. The Houston Texans need no influx of talent. They are flat-loaded. Landry Locker covers them. He joins us. He's a great friend of the program. He joins us coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
An ex-jock and a very puffy, smooth-faced man. These are the first voices you should hear. Morning Juice. Your wake-up service.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Ah, the sounds of summer. The crack of a bat, the splash of a pool, and the dreaded silence of a broken AC. No, don't sweat it. Call the Waterworks Heating and Cooling Team for an AC tune-up. Schedule a visit today and stay cool all summer long. All set. Call the Waterworks Heating and Cooling Team, 614-333-9720, or schedule service on our website. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better AC.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. Mary Haven's experts offer comprehensive care. you and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
Ah, the sounds of back to school time. There's plenty to about this time of year, so let Cane's take something off your plate by putting something on it, like hand-battered chicken fingers and cane sauce.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Are you ready to turn your passion for media into a career? Ohio Media School is the place for you. With hands-on training in radio, television, sports broadcasting, and digital media, you'll gain the skills and experience you need to succeed. Don't wait. Classes are starting soon. Visit beonair.com and take the free assessment to get started. Enroll today and take the first step towards your dream career. Ohio Media School. Your future in media starts here. Visit beonair.com. beonair.com. Enroll now.
Wendy's new Saucy Nugs come in 7 saucy flavors. Yep, you can literally hear your taste buds going. Taste bud sounds may vary. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
It's the summer sell-down at Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Get 0% for 36 months on select Wranglers, Gladiators, and Grand Cherokees with no payments for 90 days. One Performance, 2 locations, Georgesville and Delaware.
With approved credit from Stellantis Financial Services on select 24 in-stock inventory. Cannot combine offers. Ends 8/30/24.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV? Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, USDA Choice Boneless Beef Chuck Roast is on sale for only $4.99 a pound with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
One thing about us parents, we think we know what's in, but we're usually way off. That's why I take my kids to Great Clips for back-to-school haircuts. From fresh fades to beachy waves, they can use the online lookbook to find the cuts they want at prices I can't resist. Plus, with convenient online check-in, we save tons of time, too. I may never know what's cool again, but hey, with back-to-school haircuts at Great Clips, I don't have to. Download the app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
This season on Nada Yada Island.
You were charging your phone? I waited hours for you.
That's how long it takes.
Join Metro and get a free Motorola Edge that'll charge for the day in 15 minutes. At Metro, there's no activation fees. Only at Metro by T-Mobile. Bring your number ID and sign up for Metro Flex Plus plan. Offer not available if at T-Mobile or have been with Metro in the past 180 days. Requires 68-watt charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, and whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, we continue our tour around the NFL. 2-a-days, AFC South. Let's have a little conversation about our good buddy CJ Stroud and his Houston Texans. To do so, we had on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline conversation with a great friend of the program, Landry Locker, host of the Locker Room with Landry Locker on YouTube. He joins us now. Does CJ Stroud and me telling you he was going to be good make up for the fact that I told you Tom Herman would be good at Texas?
Yeah, not really, but we can. I'll say you kind of. I won't even call it a push, but look. That wasn't a unique opinion. I think most people are surprised by how bad it went with Tom Herman. But I guess time heals all wounds, so I will forgive you for that.
When did you realize last year? Is there a moment when you went, "Oh, we got a good one"?
Yeah, there was actually a couple, and I think I talked to you about this because. It took them a month and a half to send him to the podium. And I was like, is this normal? Like, why are they doing this? Because for me, like, the moment that I really fell in love with CJ Stroud was when I went back and watched the Georgia game, and Ryan Day's getting a bunch of crap for the way that he handled the end of the game, and a young man that left it all out there, he basically stepped in for him, and CJ basically said, "Hey, this is on me. I love this coaching staff, yada yada yada." And usually it's the opposite with coaches. Like you saw Saban with Bryce Young on the other hand, and Will Anderson after they lost to Georgia. He steps in for them. But when I saw CJ do that, I thought there might be some intangibles. And the moment when I actually thought that he was the dude was actually in a loss. It was the Indianapolis Colts. He was on the injury report. It was week 2. His shoulder was hurting. Both starting tackles were out. And I think he got to the stadium at like 4 a.m. That was the word on the street. And he went out there, and I think he got sacked 6 times. But afterwards, he came out and said, I'm going to ride and die for my guys. He actually even praised the O-line. And then from that moment, they went on the road. They beat the crap out of Jacksonville. They beat Pittsburgh. So it was actually crazy enough. The way in which he speaks and the way in which he handled himself in a loss was actually when I was like, okay, this is a dude. This is a leader. This is a face of a franchise.
Yeah, that's the man of the arena thing there a little bit. We saw that around here too.
I've heard him say that a time or 100.
Yeah, you certainly have, my friend. Hey, this was a franchise that I remember a couple of years ago talking about this that felt rudderless. The Watson thing was an absolute mess. The front office was a mess. Coaches fired every single year. And then all of a sudden, in a year, like all of the dreams come true. You get a coach who's got gravity, who's a natural leader. You land the defensive end and the franchise quarterback in the same draft. How did this happen, Landry?
A little bit of luck, a little bit of a good job by the GM. I will say the Watson thing was a disaster, but I think the fact that he wasn't tradable heading into the 2021 draft with Zach Wilson and Trey Lance and Mac Jones. I mean, that kind of – I think those teams might have been willing to trade for Watson had it not happened. So you kind of take it on the chin. You clean up the salary cap situation. And then, I mean, I think they like Bryce more than CJ. You end up getting CJ. You have the extra draft equity with the Watson trade. So you're willing to be aggressive and get Will Anderson. Probably would have taken Smith and Jigba at 12, but you end up with Tank Dell. So there's been a little bit of luck, and it's been just a really like perfect storm of patience. And I do think they're a little bit ahead of schedule. I will say we might be overreacting in the other direction because we kind of got to see how it plays out, because a couple bounces don't go their way last year. Like if the Colts don't drop that pass in Week 18, they don't make the playoffs. If the Jags don't wet the bed against the Titans in the final game of the season, then they're having to go to Buffalo on a Tuesday instead of getting to host Cleveland. So I will say they are ahead of schedule. I don't think anyone could have anticipated this, but it does almost seem like, the stuff went their way last year, and it could be a little bit different this year, or a little bit more difficult.
I guess that's the logical follow-up then, is exactly what you just kind of laid out, is are you ready to handle success? We were looking at some of the MVP odds, and the one we were looking at had CJ number 2 behind Patrick Mahomes. That's a lot coming quickly. Yeah. Now, Burrow in year 2 took Cincinnati to the Super Bowl. So if this is to be, hey, this isn't ahead of schedule, this is a Super Bowl contender right now, what has to happen? And if they fall short of that, where are the shortcomings on the roster?
The shortcomings on the roster would probably be at safety and perhaps O-line, just because they haven't been able to stay healthy. So I would say that those would be the 2 areas to look at. That they're elite at wide receiver. CJ and Diggs already have a magical chemistry. And then on the edge, I don't know that you get much better than having Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter on the edge. So I think they're going to get after the quarterback. Also, seems like they might have, I guess, lucked into a really good corner in Kamari Lassiter, who people were talking about the speed. He looks like a dude. I know McKinstry out of Alabama was there, and DeJean out of Iowa. They ended up going, and they ended up taking Lassiter. But I think it's going to be the wide receivers. It's going to be the edge guys. Also, a little bit of concern about the running game. They don't have a lot of depth there. But Joe Mixon is back, and he's looking pretty good. The RB2, your guess is as good as mine. Dameon Pierce kind of struggling with the system. Cam Akers coming off 2 torn Achilles, which is actually kind of insane. But
yeah,
he's actually gotten the new surgery. So I guess he was one of the first guys to get the new Achilles surgery. Like, used to be torn ACL, career over, you're never going to be the same. And then they kind of revolutionized that surgery. I think that's where we're at with Achilles now, where Akers is actually moving around as good as any back not named Joe Mixon. So the run game's something to keep an eye on, too. Are you going to ask CJ to do too much?
Are they, from a pecking order standpoint, how do you see the South, 1 through 4?
I think they're number one. They're even money right now in Vegas, which is a dangerous bet. That's not a very fun prop bet if you're going to bet on a team to win the division for even money. I think that's a little crazy. And then I would say Indianapolis and Jacksonville both improved. I think Tennessee's a distant 4. But Indianapolis has gotten a lot better. And Indianapolis, I mean, they might be quarterback-proof with their coach. I don't think he gets enough credit. They've added some pieces, too. They're going to have Jonathan Taylor all season long. He was the best player on the field in that game the Texans ended up pulling off. And then Jacksonville, I think their front seven's great. Trevor Lawrence, he was banged up last year. I think it's a 1-2-3. And if I'm betting, like, I'm looking at the Colts and I'm looking at the Jags at 3 or 3.5 to 1. And I'm saying, man, that's good value. Even if you put a gun to my head, I would probably take the Texans. But, I mean, a lot can happen, especially with the new schedule. I think that's going to be, to go back to your point about what goes wrong, I don't think that CJ Stroud's the kind of guy that the moment's going to be too big for him and people are expecting stuff. But they had a huge advantage last year in that 16 of their 17 games were noon on Sunday until the last week of the season. Like, so your coach, and I asked former Texans coach Gary Kubiak, and I asked D'Amico about this. Like, there's not a coach in the NFL that wouldn't want all noon Sunday kicks. Now they got 6 primetime games, so the routine itself is going to be a little bit different, and that makes it a little bit more difficult naturally.
Talking to a great friend of the program, Landry Locker, host of Locker Room with Landry Locker on YouTube. You're home for all of the CJ Stroud conversation this entire season. Can you explain to me how someone who lives in Tennessee but used to live in Houston owns the entire color palette of light blue in a city that they no longer occupy?
Yeah, that's Amy Adams Strong, excuse me.
It's crazy.
It's a petty thing, but I from her point of view, I understand it because her dad left Houston, and I can't imagine the letters he got and all that. And there's a little bit of obsessiveness. There's a little bit of pettiness that goes with it. But it's just kind of interesting because, you know, you basically have the logo in an attic for a long time, and now you're pulling it out. And I mean, they're honoring Earl Campbell like at halftime and stuff like that, and it's Bruce Matthews and all that. So from the players kind of feel weird because they don't really have a home, so they kind of embrace it. But there's a little bit of pettiness with her, and the owner here, the owner's wife Hannah McNair, has completely embraced it. She will not hesitate to call out Amy Adams. So it's kind of a decent rivalry. I don't know how good Tennessee's going to be, but yeah, the colors, there's a lot of controversy. I think the Cougs are actually going to wear them no matter what this year.
Good for
them.
them.
There is that. Yeah, so they're just gonna go with it.
Landry, real quick, did the NFL say, hey, because the way I understand it, they had a light blue alternate in the mix that they were going to go with. I believe I have that right. I think I remember you saying this. So the NFL stepped in and said, you can't use any color of light blue? Is that where we're at?
So they have a real little bit. We actually got to go to the presentation when they were first starting the uniforms. They were pretty cool about that. It wasn't the exact same color. It was going to be called H-Town Blue, and it was going to be a decent part of the alternate. I guess Amy Adams got wind of that, and she kind of pushed that, you know, this is the Oilers. So the Texans kind of backed off of it a little bit. But, yeah, that was the original plan. They were going to have a little bit more. Now, just like in the alternate, they have the outline, and then they have it like on the collar. So, yeah, she did step in. She did not want that to happen.
Wild, man. Good talking to you as always, my friend. Thanks for your time.
All right, man. All right, you're the best.
All right, Landry Locker, host of The Locker Room with Landry Locker on YouTube, joining on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. You own an entire color palette is the damnedest thing I've ever heard. Thing or not a thing, up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
Score a goal with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the checking account that rewards you for supporting the crew. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, official credit union of the Columbus Crew, federally insured by NCUA.
Rosati Windows, the best buying experience in the business.
I realize that people have options when choosing replacement windows, so I appreciate each and every customer. Before you make a decision, you owe it to yourself to see what makes us different. Our prices are competitive, we react quickly to service issues, and we control every decision that goes into building and installing our top quality products. We're just able to take better care of our customers.
Call Rosati Windows today, 777-4806.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Wendy's new Saucy Nugs come in 7 saucy flavors. Yep, you can literally hear your taste buds going. Taste bud sounds may vary. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
Excuse me, waiter. There's a hair in my soup. A long purple hair.
I'm so sorry. I'll get the manager.
I'm the manager. How can I help?
Wait, weren't you the Plum Insurance mascot?
What gave it away? My long purple fur?
Something like that.
What if all insurance companies were like NJM and were known for putting their policyholders first, not gimmicks? Then all those insurance mascots would have to get real jobs.
I'll pass on dessert.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM.
Right now at the Ram, make this the summer event. Well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4 for $549 a month for 42 months with $3,640 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra, no security deposit required. Call 1-877-RAM-5722 for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by September 3rd, 2024.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest? How to win? Or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Thursday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
First one today, this from sports betting reporter Sam McQuillan.
FanDuel users will not be subject to the added fee on winning bets that DraftKings plan to implement next year. Just hours later, DraftKings bettors learned they will not face it either. Peter Jackson, CEO of FanDuel parent Flutter Entertainment, confirmed that they have no intention of following DraftKings in introducing a surcharge on winning bettors in high-tax states like Illinois and New York. The announcement came shortly before Flutter reported second quarter earnings on Tuesday, showcasing double-digit profit growth year over year, driven by FanDuel. A few hours later, DraftKings announced it was abandoning the planned fee it announced 12 days ago. A DraftKings spokesperson said, quote, "We always listen to our customers, and after hearing their feedback, we have decided not to move forward with the gaming tax surcharge. We are always committed to delivering the best value in the industry to our loyal customers." Thing or not a thing?
I feel like considering that this program currently is without sponsorship from a gambling source, I think probably the correct answer for us right now is no comment. That's because we're open. We're ready. We do a lot of lines. Lines all fall long. So we're ready for you. Either one of you. Come on home.
Yeah, I was just about to say, look, everybody's still kind of learning in this. Like, there's still some states that are opening up sports gambling. Ohio's been doing so for about 2 years now, and I just think this is a learning curve.
I like that answer. That's a very good answer to you, Reese.
Speaking of gambling, which you can do in Ohio. So,
yes.
If you're interested in this program, we know many of you are, that could be a thing that could come our way in the fall. Paul Skeens has the third best odds to win NL Cy Young. He's got the best odds currently to win National League Rookie of the Year, probably the guy that's going to win it right now, so I don't think the odds are that great for him there. But for the Cy Young, you could probably get some pretty good action in on him. In an interview with CBS Sports, Hall of Fame pitcher Randy Johnson said for Skeens to reach his full potential, he must tell the Pirates that he can do more than they're allowing him to. Johnson took in a Skeens start against the Arizona Diamondbacks last week, in which Skeens was pulled after 100 pitches. So this was in about the sixth inning. Skeens only gave up 2 earned runs in that outing, but then the Pirates bullpen let him down en route to that loss. Skeens took the no decision on that. Johnson told CBS Sports, quote, "If he could have gone another inning, he might have gotten that win, because as soon as he came out, the next guy gave up 3 runs. And that's what I told him when I met him. The organization, Paul, is going to dictate what you are going to do, and if you want to have a real career, if you become the pitcher that everybody thinks you're going to be, you will have a lot of say in what you want to do, whereas a lot of pitchers don't have that say, but you will." Johnson goes on to say, quote, "You're going to have to go 7 or 8 innings, and you're not going to hurt yourself because the game has been around for 150 years, and people went 7 to 8 innings all the time, and they threw 115 to 135 pitches. You just have to mold your body, and your body needs to become accustomed to that kind of workload. That's all it is." End quote. Thing or not a thing?
I love that thing. All of it. I love every bit of that. I think that's awesome. I think that's great advice for Randy Johnson. I think that's a big thing. And I think as Skeens gets more comfortable, he will probably do that. His 18 months, quite honestly, is as good as 18 months as an athlete has ever had. I mean, he was a pilot in the Air Force. He transfers to LSU. He wins the most outstanding player in college baseball. They win the College World Series. He's dating Livy Dunn, who he meets at LSU, number 1 pick in the draft, makes an All-Star game. He's dominant. It's a crazy rise. We usually don't see this, like somebody kind of come out of nowhere like this the way he has. But all of that's a thing.
Former LSU Tigers, which little route would you like to take? The Joe Burrow route or the Paul Skeens route? Both seem favorable.
Yeah. That's pretty good because both kind of came out of nowhere for people. Like, obviously, we knew Joe, but I don't know if around the country people thought that was possible.
No, yeah, I think that, especially because he was just good his first year at LSU, and then he was great his last year there. And yeah, Paul Skeens, Randy Johnson, it's a weird one because like I'm with you, Bo. I think he is right. I think baseball just overdoes it on the pitch count and pulling pitchers, and it stinks whenever they pull a guy when he's going for a no-hitter because I'd rather, I understand you don't want to get hurt, but like wouldn't you rather have a no-hitter under your accolades and your accomplishments for your career? So maybe Paul Skeens will get that, but it does also, when you're talking to baseball, maybe they'll zag back to this, but right now they're so into the analytics that for Randy Johnson, it's just going to come off as back in my day, and that's how I think people around, like actually controlling baseball, are going to take it. But I agree with them. Baseball's been around for like 150 years. People pitch all the time.
Paul Skeens is 6'6", 220. 230.
You can handle it.
Let him go.
Eyes on Big Ten podcast host Jeffrey the Greek, Jeff Buke, with this tidbit about the Big Ten coaching. Complete list of Big Ten coordinators, defensive coordinators, and offensive coordinators out of 36 entering their third year plus at their current program. There's only these names. Phil Parker, of course, 14th year at Iowa. Brian Williams, 3+ years with Maryland. Jim Knowles entering his third season with Ohio State. Josh Lupoi, Oregon defensive coordinator. Lupoi. Okay. Oregon defensive coordinator in his third year, and Barry Lunny Jr. is Illinois' offensive coordinator in their third year. So that's the only Big Ten OC, the Illinois one, and it makes it a whopping 5 out of 36, just 13.9%. Thing or not a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the turnover is a thing. I think the pressure to win is a thing, and obviously coordinators gets bounced, or if they're great, they get promoted and away they go. We had that with Hafley here a few years ago. The thing that I'm most curious about is, like, this guy's going by the Greek.
Yes.
Jeffrey the Greek. So
I came across him because he's a former Iowa player, and something that I tweeted got him to like my tweet, and then we just followed each other. So now I'm familiar with him.
Like, you guys have any point of reference on, you wouldn't, without knowing it just through nostalgia, who Jimmy the Greek is?
I know the name, but I don't know much about it,
Yeah, just the name's familiar.
It's a hell of a doc. I think either HBO did it or it was a 30 for 30, but he was on Inside the NFL on CBS with Musburger doing like lines, said a wildly offensive and inappropriate thing and was vaporized. But he was one of the first guys to talk about lines on the NFL. This was in the early 80s. And then the other thing with the Greek is I think of The Wire with the Greek, because there's a Greek in season 2 of The Wire. It's a great nickname, the Greek. I like it. I'm for it. Good job out of him.
Yeah, it's much to your point with this. It's a thing, wild, that doesn't feel like coordinators, the turnover I didn't expect.
Well, the Big Ten used to have so much of long tenured coaches, and that has really changed over the last 2 seasons.
Coaches, coordinators there forever.
Yeah, I think you're all making a lot of money. You better start winning. We got a lot of money in football. We need to start winning. And so that's probably how that turnover comes. Final hour of the program. Ryan Day press conference coming up at 11:30. We anticipate the quarterback question will be answered there. We will find out. You have that to look forward to. Your emails, higher or lower as well. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Erectile dysfunction is a destroyer of your confidence, of your joy and intimacy, and often it can even harm your relationship. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, the leading men's sexual health practice in our area for treating erectile dysfunction, and I want you to know today that if you're like most men, you can be free of ED and all the impacts it has on your life. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're your local provider for dealing with men's sexual health issues. Our expert medical teams are focused on treating ED, and we have highly effective treatment plans with some protocols that work in well over 90% of cases. We can even combine treatments for greater efficacy, all of which means it's very likely you'll be having great sex again within just a day or 2 of your first appointment. You might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 2 convenient locations, just off 270 in Hilliard and near the Medical Mile in Westerville.
At Baths R Us, we're terrible roofers. We stink at installing siding. And don't ever call us for your kitchen remodel. But if you want a stunning, beautiful bathroom makeover in just 2 or 3 days, now that's when you want to call us. See, unlike most contractors these days, we offer only one service, bathroom remodeling. We don't spread ourselves thin by doing roofing or siding and a bunch of other stuff. Nope. At Baths R Us, we dedicate every company resource into mastering the craft of bath transformations. It's why we're the Midwest's biggest 5-star family-owned bathroom company. And it's why we have the happiest customers. Just check out our Google reviews. Baths R Us. We're terrible roofers, but we're awesome bathroom remodelers. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, loan to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. A major announcement could be coming later this hour. Ohio State head coach Ryan Day is scheduled to speak with the media around 11:30-ish. When he actually speaks, we'll carry those comments live on The Fan. A starting quarterback could be named on Thursday. Coach Day said last week Will Howard and Devin Brown have taken the bulk of practice reps with the first-team offense during camp. Buckeyes are 16 days away from their opener, August 31st against Akron. In NFL news, the Falcons acquired four-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Matthew Judon from the Patriots in exchange for a third-round pick in 25. Judon missed time last year with a torn bicep, but had 15.5 sacks in 2022. In baseball, both the Reds and Guardians have Thursday off. Cincinnati will host Kansas City Friday night, while Cleveland will be at Milwaukee. This update is sponsored by Germain Toyota, the best selection of new and used cars in Central Ohio. View their full selection of vehicles online at germaintoyota.net.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. Ryan Day coming up in 30 minutes from the Woody Hayes or thereabouts. We will effort everything we can to make sure that all times out, to make sure you get to hear that press conference live. We anticipate the quarterback situation being addressed there. I don't think there are betting odds on this type of thing, but if there were, you would be betting on Will Howard to be named the starter today. I think we're at the point where it would be a little bit surprising if he's not, but who knows? We've had to wait before, and so we'll see how all of that shakes out. So that's coming up at 11:30. I got this from Fish. It was a 30 for 30 on Jimmy the Greek, the legend of Jimmy the Greek. It is very watchable and incredibly fascinating how he became, one of the most popular people in sports television for a brief period of time in the early to mid 80s, and I kind of had that knocked out. I think he had connections to Eastern Ohio too. I want to say Steubenville or something. There was some connection that he had to Ohio that, if memory serves, I believe that's the case.
Also, he was born in Steubenville.
Steubenville, right. There it is. Born in Steubenville. I knew that there was, and it actually buried there as well.
On that note, whatever happened to the Stump the Schwab guy? It seems like a similar space in sports media to me. Maybe it's just
Jimmy the Greek was more like Charles Barkley and oh my gosh, what would it be like? It would be like Charles Barkley and Jay Glazer, like all molded into one.
Okay.
Was Jim? He was enormous, like that size. Whereas the Schwab guy was like, and Herbie did that with that Bear guy too, where he like made like an ESPN researcher, tried making them like
now he works for Fox, and they keep throwing him on, and it's like nobody really cares.
It never mattered who he was. Like, you paid the wrong guy, man. Like, nobody ever cared about that. I don't know what happened to Stump the Schwab guy. I know he got laid off at ESPN at one point, but there was a time where like there was a lot of those anchor guys really loved him, and so they had like that trivia show that he was on. So, but I don't know what's happened since. I did see this Home Field Apparel. I have no connection with them whatsoever, but they dropped a gorgeous Buckeye, kind of a starter-looking jacket with a thick gray sleeve on it, commemorating the 2014 national champs. And I saw this from Ben Axelrod, great friend who's with Awful Announcing now, and I'm the same way. This is the 10-year anniversary of 14. We're all old, kids.
Yeah.
Like, that snuck up on all of... I mean, that snuck up on all of us, didn't it?
I remember when I was in college and during this season, and the college was the first time I would look back and you have memories from childhood, but they're kind of amorphous. Sometimes they're just influenced by people telling stories around you, and you're like, do I really remember that, or have I just heard the story? But by the time I was in college, I was like, oh, I can remember 10 years ago. I remember things, specifically what I did, which means now I can remember things that were 20 years ago. Because when I thought that was 10 years ago. So
We did the Saturday Spectacular from Ohio State football camp, and I had Tyvis and Cardale both on. And I said, 10 years ago, these two men helped captain a national championship run. I don't know if that comment was received all that well.
Were they? Yeah, because you wonder, even how aware. I mean, I'm assuming they're doing something to honor that team this year. The 10-year anniversary, you'd honor that team, but it's. Life comes at you fast. It
doesn't feel like 10 years ago.
No, not at all. We'll get into that later on as I'm sure there will be some sort of homage that is paid to them. Let's hit the emails here on a Thursday.
Our comment box is always open. Any feedback is mostly appreciated.
The mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more. And you got to get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in.
Bishop and Friends present emails.
All right, first one here is from Katie. The subject is fall wedding. And this has been in the news this week, right? I think a lot of people are debating this fall wedding stuff. And she wrote a long, detailed email. I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit. Her fiance listens to the show every day, claims we cannot have a fall wedding. So I don't know if they're planning for, I can't tell if they're planning for this fall or next. I hope it's next because that would come pretty quick.
It can't be this fall if they don't have it set yet.
She paraphrasing here. Then towards the end, she goes, "I think he's wrong. I love the fall and think it's the perfect time for our special day. Am I wrong?" There's nuance to this, Katie. I don't think it's as steadfast as you cannot have a fall wedding if your future husband is a huge college football fan. You just have to be open to it being a little bit different. And my advice to you would be, don't be the bride who's policing the reception for the college football. I think you made the point yesterday. It's the speeches, and then it's a sports bar. It's a party at that point in the reception. So, that's easy. And I would say if he's a Buckeye fan, as long as you're not getting married at big noon, you're probably going to be okay in terms of a big game. And certainly you get married the week of Akron. That's not a big deal. The whole first month of this season, if it were to be that quickly, you would be fine as long as you're the first month. Just don't be dumb and get married on October 12th. When you're going out to Eugene, that's really the one you got to work for. I think this is gray area. I am not can't get married in fall guy because fall here's the best season. I just think be smart with it, and then from the bride's perspective, be open to the idea and the realization that people are going to either be on their phones or watching some TV during your reception. That's all.
Yeah, I think that's what we landed on, that combination of both sides just be mature about it. You know that you're having a fall wedding and that people like college football, and so there's going to be some people who might prioritize and choose that over it, and there might be people that are there. But we were talking about how it turns into a party after the speeches and the dinner. It's a party. Let people do what they want to do for fun. That's what a party's for. It's supposed to be fun, and my guess is they wouldn't be the only person who wants to watch a college football game. So I love the idea of the TV, but I think we can retire this conversation. There are 3 internet conversations that just come up with a new creative thought, guys. We do not need to talk about fall football weddings every single year. We also don't need to talk about if Die Hard is a Christmas movie ever again. We've done it for 5 years. It's not important, and I don't need to hear if a hot dog is a sandwich ever again. Come up with a new thing. The internet has moved on.
You're the arbiter of topics.
I think
Chops, you're the new arbiter of topics.
I am so tired of rehashing these ones every year. Come up with a new thought.
Well, you missed the dress. Is it blue? Or what was another really popular internet topic? Standing on airplanes. That's something. Yeah. They'll have something new. Sure as we're sitting here, August 15th. But I think you lean into it at this point. You get married when... I think now we're kind of coming out of the COVID backlog of weddings. And so I think if you do schedule it, because it's probably going to happen, one of every 5 weddings is going to be on a weekend where they're like, we're not thrilled with that, but it's the best price we can get. And, it happens to be during our college football Saturday. Get the ceremony out of the way and then, have the party. But have TVs at the party. And understand your guests are going to be on their phone.
Yeah, for sure. I had to go to one a few years ago where the bride was adamant, we will not have TVs. And I'm like, that ain't it.
Just put a projector on the dance floor if you can get that done. Just combine the two.
That's not a fight worth fighting. It's not worth it.
If you're having a wedding on October 12th or anytime there's football on, have the DJ just play 97.1 The Fan.
Perfect. You can do that too. That would solve it
There's your soundtrack. Paul Keels and Jim Lachey.
And stay tuned for us on the post game show.
After party, you'll be on, Chops. This one from Tom. The subject is new coaches. Tom writes, 3 of the 4 teams that made the college football playoff last season have new coaches. Which one do you think will have the most success in year 1 and the most success overall? It's a fantastic topic. I hadn't thought of it in this perspective that only Sark returns. New coaches at Michigan, new coaches at Washington, and new coaches at Alabama as well. I actually think Kalen DeBoer is going to be just fine in year 1. Now, I define just fine as I think they'll make the playoff. I think there's enough residual talent. They're really good on the offensive line. 2 potential All-Americans there. There's enough talent on the back end. He brought a receiver with him from Washington. He landed a 5-star receiver in the recruiting class. And I think Jalen Milroe is pretty good and will pretty good in that system. So I think Kalen DeBoer will be very decent in year 1. Maybe not win the SEC, but I could see him going 9-3, make the playoff. And I think he's actually set up for long-term pretty well, too. Not Saban level. And that might not be good enough for Bama fans, but I think he's going to do more than fine there. I think Fish is in a pickle at Washington. Guys, they only have 3 guys back in their 2 deep. Not starters, 2 deep at Washington. That is to go from playing in the national title to a complete rebuild. That's really tough. I put more kind of in the middle of the 2 of them.
It's weird joining in the Big Ten. Washington, basically everybody jumped ship. Some NFL attrition, some followed Kalen DeBoer to Alabama, and some probably just exhausted their eligibility. But I'm also thinking what they lost or did they get Pat Chun from Washington State and bring him in as athletic director?
Yeah, they brought Pat in.
Yeah, so they brought in a new athletic.
And they got Will Rogers. They got him.
It's a new athletic director. Yeah, so
starting over.
Yeah, but Fish did a really good job at Arizona, so maybe you can do that at Washington, but I don't think they're going to be back up there in the Final Four anytime soon with them. I think Kalen DeBoer is the right answer. Jalen Milroe is a really good college quarterback. I think we realized that as the season went on, and they figured out how to use him better, and Alabama's just a better machine. Sharon Moore will probably have more success than Fish at Washington, but I don't know if Sharon Moore is really the long-term play for Michigan. How attached are they to him? What would it take to get him out?
Fall on the sword guy.
I always thought the Moore decision was just like, hey, he's the next guy up to kind of lead Michigan, I should say, through whatever the NCAA is about to hand down. Then they do their national coaching search.
Yeah.
Everybody, all the others seem like, well, this is our guy. We would like to be here for the next decade.
This one from Matt. The subject is mayonnaise.
Why?
He writes, love the show. I heard you guys talking about Will Levis's mayonnaise cologne and wondered if you had to make a cologne out of a condiment, which would you choose? I feel like Nutella.
I guess that could count as a condiment. You're right. I wasn't thinking sweet condiments.
Yeah. I think you always want to go sweet with the cologne if you can. So I'm going to go Nutella. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I guess like peanut butter is a little too intense for that Nutella.
You can have every dog in the town licking your chops.
Yeah, the hazelnut flavor. I think maybe like a sweet relish maybe could be a good base for one. But
J-Lo, can I interest you in a sweet relish?
J-Lo doesn't like pickles, so it wouldn't work for us, I guess. But I'd wear a sweet relish cologne. I'd try it out at least. Speaking of the mayo and Will Levis, I tried it. I put the mayo in my coffee this morning. There's a video. It's on my Twitter. You can find it, Chops971. It curdled. It didn't really mix in. The physics, things are supposed to dissolve faster in hot liquids. It didn't. And to me, it tasted more like black coffee. Like it didn't really combine with the coffee. It was just coffee with chunks of mayonnaise in it.
God
so
almighty.
I think Will Levis, liar, straight up liar. He doesn't do that.
Just flat lying.
They do it for the gimmick, right? You do it because it gets people talking about you and your quirks. What was the question? What was asked?
Condiment for cologne.
Oh, does jam or jelly count? Like a strawberry jam or strawberry jelly, like that scent?
That's a
I think
condiment.
if Nutella counts, then it should, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, those are condiments. Anything that is an accoutrement to something that already exists.
I would say mayo's probably the least offensive of condiments if we're going like ketchup, mustard, relish.
Mayo's one of its main ingredients is lemon, so it's got a citrusy scent to it, I guess you could
I can't even think of the last time I smelled mayonnaise to know, like,
Have you had like a coleslaw or anything recently, maybe?
Yeah, but I don't notice the mayonnaise smell. I don't use it on,
and that's
I don't have
probably
it often.
why. I'll tell you this: it had a scent when I put it in my coffee mug this morning. I could smell it off of that.
There was a scent to that one. Did get this from Josh. This might be the sweet spot. He said Friday fall weddings are where it's at. Cheaper, and the next day you all get together for the game. Worked out perfectly for his wife and I. Okay,
yeah, I'm down. I do.
I like that. I can co-sign that, certainly. And those were your emails as we open the mailbag every single Thursday on that front. We hit a little higher or lower coming up next. Ryan Day in 16 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Did you and your family lose Ohio Medicaid and need health coverage? Check this out. You may be eligible to enroll in a low-cost health plan at healthcare.gov. With the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov offers quality plans that cover doctor visits, prescriptions, emergency care, and more. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
One thing about us parents, we think we know what's in, but we're usually way off. That's why I take my kids to Great Clips for back-to-school haircuts. From fresh fades to beachy waves, they can use the online lookbook to find the cuts they want at prices I can't resist. Plus, with convenient online check-in, we save tons of time, too. I may never know what's cool again, but hey, with back-to-school haircuts at Great Clips, I don't have to. Download the app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Driving plays a big part in driving the local economy. It helps us all get where we're going and creates good jobs close to home. At Synovus Energy, our refineries in Toledo and Lima are a reliable domestic source of gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Plus, more than 2,300 employees and contractors work for us here in Ohio. See how we're helping local communities move forward at Synovus.com.
It's time that we face the facts when it comes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. It exists to save and heal lives. It's a way to look out for one another, to continue a legacy and give the gift of a fuller future, the gift of life.
But what about the barriers around organ donation?
Cost, age, religion, race, or health status are not factors that can get in the way. All it really takes is one epic yes. Register today to become an organ, eye, and tissue donor at donatelifeohio.org.
We don't talk about politics on The Fan. Instead, we welcome Buckeyes fans, NFL fans, and anyone looking to escape the never-ending cycle of misery. You're safe here, friends. The Fan, home of the Buckeyes and Ohio's politics-free destination.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Having your fantasy football league draft party at your house? Order Giannino's Family Feast and make it your fantasy football league feast. Giannino's, with locations in Pickerington and Westerville.
Get the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 powered by Galaxy AI with Spectrum free anytime upgrade. Use Circle to search with Google to see more and search more on the large Z Fold 6 screen. Or capture perfectly framed pics using FlexCam and Z Flip 6. Order now with Spectrum free anytime upgrade and get up to $1,000 off, plus the value of your trade-in. Visit a Spectrum store or SpectrumMobile.com today. Offer subject to change. Valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Billiards Plus has everything for the master griller in your house. Come to their showroom, open the lid, and feel the difference in their grills. Professional top quality equipment at great prices with a huge selection ready to go home with you. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Have you lost Ohio Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Ohio's public schools are safe, welcoming learning environments where everyone can thrive. No exceptions. Thanks to the nearly 120,000 public school educators in the Ohio Education Association. We are dedicated professionals who deserve respect, a living wage, and a seat at the table when decisions are made. And we're using our united voice to demand the supports and resources our students need to succeed. Because in Ohio, public education matters.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today we are tracking a lot of sunshine in the morning, increase in clouds by the afternoon, high 87. Dry tonight, low 66. And then on Friday we'll see the return of some much needed rainfall with a high of 87. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time a little higher, lower here on a Thursday. Hit it, Reese.
Friends present Higher or Lower.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Trust the pros at The Waterworks for all your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Visit thewaterworks.com today to get started.
All right, this week's higher or lower comes to us from the Associated Press. And let me see if I can math this on the fly. 56, 78, 59, 661, 62 voters there with their AP's preseason top 25 poll. We'll start at number 1. Can't go any higher, but higher or lower for Georgia. The Bulldogs received 46 of 62 first-place votes.
Yeah, I tell you what. So the AP has always done that with the 62. I've been an AP voter twice. It was a lot of fun. I took it incredibly seriously. Charted it every week. Really enjoyed it. It was fun to be able to do. Never took it lightly. I think it's appropriate that Georgia is one. I think they were the best team in the country last year. They return a lot of that talent. They have an NFL-ready quarterback in Carson Beck, who has proven. And when you start to look at what Kirby Smart has done in SEC play since he's been there, it's utterly stupefying. And really the only person who's beat him is Saban. That's it. Everybody else he hammers. And I think they are the appropriate number 1.
Yeah, I think they are too. Like I said earlier today, I've seen some consternation about, well, why aren't the Buckeyes number 1? They really won the offseason. Their roster, if you look at it up and down, is just as talented, if not more talented. I think Georgia just gets the benefit of the doubt of these major teams, other than, well, I guess Oregon has a transfer in there, but other than Texas, it's like we know the commodity at quarterback for them. Carson Beck is pretty good, and he's coming back. He's, of the returners, the leader in passing yards in college football from last season. So I get why, okay, we'll give the slight edge to Georgia. But when you look at the points, it's only 42 points separating the two. So, I mean, like, even with all the first place votes that Georgia has, 46 to Ohio State's 15, it's still pretty close there. So it's a 1A, 1B situation anyways. And I don't have a problem with Georgia getting the benefit of the doubt because of the quarterback.
All right, so
42-2 his last 3 years. He's flipping 24-0 in SEC play the last 3 years.
Regular season.
Correct. 24-0 in SEC play the last 3 years.
All right, so with the AP Top 25, everything's chalk with the coaches poll until you get to 8, which they have Penn State, then Michigan at 9, Florida State at 10. Florida State's at 10 in the coaches poll as well. But higher or lower, Penn State and Michigan, 8 and 9.
So the AP flip-flopped Penn State and Michigan with the coaches. They flipped them. If I'm betting on one, I'm going to bet on Michigan. Not loving to do it, but I just think Franklin, go win a game, man. What's his last quality win? Like Iowa? No disrespect, Chops. Like,
no, but that's probably that's what I was going to say.
What is the last quality win that James Franklin has at Penn State? Who was the last team that he beat that he was an underdog going in? He probably wouldn't have been an underdog at Iowa. I don't even know what. I don't know what the answer to that is.
And they had Iowa at home last year. They won 31-0. I remember that one. Yeah, so that last year, nothing in those marquee games because they lost to Ohio State and Michigan. Weren't they at Auburn in 21? They beat number 22 Auburn.
Maybe that's it.
That was at home. Did they play them at Auburn in 20? No, because that was the pandemic year. But Auburn, I guess, was an out-of-conference game. But I agree with you on James Franklin. I don't have a ton of confidence in him, but I don't know how worried I am about the Michigan offense. I think their defense is still filled with a lot of talent, and they're going to be really good defensively. Donovan Edwards is a really good back, but he hasn't been the feature back for them before. And is Alex Orji going to be their starting quarterback, and is he good enough? He seems like he's one of those like athletic freak guys at quarterback, so that can get you a lot of headway. But I think I'm going to go the opposite, Bo. I agree with you on Franklin, but I think that they've got it right, that Penn State is going to finish ahead of Michigan in the final rankings. I think that's the real truth this year.
Let's round out the bottom five, the top 25. A&M, Arizona, Kansas at 22, USC 23, NC State 24, Iowa 25.
Hawkeyes got to go up. They're legit defensively, and some of the teams ahead of them just are not consistently good. Iowa's disrespected here at 25. The rest, like Arizona losing Fish, I think USC could be a little better than people think, too, going into it. Real quick, Chop, so we can hit RD.
According to the video game, NC State would be up as well. But
yes, they would.
But yeah, I agree with you, Iowa at 25. It's like, but their offense stinks. And it's like, yeah, and it stunk for 3 years. And they've still won 10, 11 games in those seasons. So, like, you just have to accept that, like, that's the way they're playing. And no, it's never going to be good enough to beat the teams in at least like the top 8 probably, but they beat other top 25 teams. They go up against somebody in the 15 range, they can win those games. That's why I think they should be higher than 25.
Yeah, short segment here because we want to hit Ryan Day on time. His press conference from the Woody Hayes coming up next. You do not want to miss it. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Ready? This Ohio State football training camp report is brought to you locally on The Fan by Weber Grills.
Ohio State football. Training camp report.
And this report is brought to you statewide by Safe Light Auto Glass and Bob's Discount Furniture. One of the areas all anxious to watch about Ohio State going into 2024, the offensive line. Head coach Ryan Day says he's seen improvement.
An offensive line is definitely a developmental position, and there's just so much that comes with it. And I think having both tackles, the left guard, Carson, Seth, these guys now have experience. They played, they know what it takes. So when you're in the off season, you know what you're up against in this. You know where you need to get yourself in terms of understanding scheme, but also just physically being able to wear teams down and playing your best in the fourth quarter. So there has been a different approach to that. But other than that, they've had a great off season, and we're hoping that we can kind of get a rhythm with those guys here heading into next week.
We'll have more in just a moment.
At Bob's Discount Furniture, when you find a complete dining set that seats 6 and comes with an extendable leaf for only $5.99.
Oh my, Bob.
And a sofa that doubles as a chaise, and a bed, and storage like my Playscape for only $9.99.
Oh my, Bob.
And a queen mattress with world-famous Bobapedic memory foam and an 18-year warranty like my Treasure for only $7.99.
Oh my, Bob.
Well, there's only one thing to say.
Oh my, Bob.
Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safe Light Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelight.com. Safe Light Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace. This is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
As Ohio State continues to prepare for the 2024 season, head coach Ryan Day says the intensity that coaches are always looking for has been very present, but in the right manner.
It's different between, getting tired and throwing a punch and getting thrown out of a game or breaking your hand. That's just complete undiscipline. It's another thing when you're just going so hard that you're going to be jawing and pushing and being edgy and playing all the way to the edge of the whistle. Like, that's what we want right there. And, our guys aren't going to back down from anybody. And it's just, that has to be that mentality every day when you're out there. And you have to bring it. And so, we're not going to have guys running from the sideline, getting into it. We have a protocol for that. We've talked to our team about that. And, we can't be, whatever we're doing in practice, we're going to do in a game. And so we can't get penalties for undisciplined behavior. But at the same time, we're going to go really, really hard in practice and push each other. And there's not one guy in that field that's going to back down. So, what you saw out there in practice is what we're looking for in terms of intensity.
Season opener for the Buckeyes, August 31st against Akron. This is Paul Keels on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
The drums bang, the flame sparks, the trumpets blow, the hot dogs sizzle, the crowd cheers, the fans eat. The sounds of Buckeye football are synonymous with the best damn band in the land in the stadium and the Weber Grills outside the stadium. Weber is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. To celebrate another season, Weber is launching a limited edition Ohio State grill, inspired by our Buckeye helmets. Get the best damn grill in the land at Ohio area retailers near you ahead of the football season.
Hey, Buckeye fans, Paul Keels here for my other favorite nation, Window Nation. I just scored some new windows from Window Nation. What an amazing difference. Can't wait to start saving on those energy bills. Right now, they have an incredible offer just for Ohio State fans. Receive 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Plus, put 0 down, make 0 payments with 0% interest for 2 years. Watch your Buckeyes in comfort this season with new windows from Window Nation. Call today at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Tell them Paul sent you.
Shop Meijer for all your back-to-school essentials. Pull out your supply list and check it off as you go, because it's all in one stop. Right now, buy one, get one 50% off when you mix or match writing essentials like permanent markers, highlighters, pencils, and gel pens. Plus, Meijer brand 24-count crayons and glue are just 25 cents. You'll get an A+ in savings when you shop back to school in one stop at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Meet animals from around the world as you explore the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Whether you're fascinated by the towering elephant or playful sea lions, we have it all at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Visit columbuszoo.org to plan your visit today.
Hey, it's Bobby. When it comes to tackling a project as important as your roof, you want a company that cares about the product and experience they're going to deliver. At Newman Roofing, you're more than just a number. They believe in 100% customer satisfaction. And for your roofing needs, give them a call at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
Always wanted that fan t-shirt, didn't know what to do. We've got the solution. The new fan store is open. Go to 971thefan.com, click on the fan store grand opening graphic, and you're in. The fan store grand opening, it's happening now, 971thefan.com. Awaiting Ryan Day at the podium at the Woody Hayes. We anticipate the quarterback situation will be, we know it'll be addressed. The question is, will he have an answer for us, and will it be Will Howard? It is certainly trending in that direction. It's one of those things where if you follow the breadcrumbs, you get there pretty straightforward and pretty easily. The comments from Ryan Day, the comments from his teammates, you go back to all the way back to spring football, and you think about the comments from Chip Kelly and Ryan Day about how the room will know. Well, we've had a chance to talk to a lot of guys in various rooms, and it feels like they know that Will Howard is the guy. He's on the Davey O'Brien watch list. He's a Heisman watch list guy, so it feels like the word has gotten out. The question is, will Ryan Day say this out loud emphatically right now? And that's kind of what we're waiting on. Remember, we are absurdly spoiled at the quarterback position. You go from 3 straight first-round picks, and Kyle McCord was more than fine. And quite honestly, if Kyle McCord was still the quarterback of this team, I think he'd be more than fine to be able to do it. But the question is, the frustration was that in the red zone, it was too many field goals, not enough touchdowns. And they went out and they got Will Howard. And the idea is this guy's going to be an answer in the red zone with his feet and also with his arm. And he's going to give you that other dimension. I think it's why Ryan was so curious about Devin Brown for so much of last season, because Devin would stick his nose down and run. Devin also has the deep ball ability that he would show from time in practice, just consistently is not there or has not been there in practice the way that McCord was a year ago, and it appears that Will Howard was this year. One other thing on this, Will Howard has absolutely earned this job. This was not given to him. He was a backup quarterback through all of spring drills. He had to earn the black stripe being removed from his helmet, and now we head to the Woody Hayes to see if we have an answer from Ryan Day.
Whoops, I jumped a little too soon.
He's en route.
He's en route. It got quiet, so I was like, oh, there it is, but no.
Yeah, it's tough. We're like trying to watch and maintain it. But he's had to earn this job. He earned it in spring football. They split sort of in the early part of camp, and then it's been trending Will Howard. I do think there's a benefit for him getting a couple of weeks as being starting quarterback at Big State U. I think there's real value in that for him. I think there's real value in that being known and being able to carry yourself as a starting quarterback. And remember, this is a guy who, while they're all kind of learning a variation of the offense they used to be, he's the one who has really only 6 months worth of snaps and of terminology in his head. And so I think he needs all the snaps that he can get. We use the term 10 feet tall and bulletproof all the time. That's what he needs to be heading into Oregon on October 12th. But really, in September, that's going to be the case. We know they're going to play multiple quarterbacks. They have to. They will not put themselves in the position they were in the Cotton Bowl last year, where they were ill-prepared for someone other than McCord or Brown to be the quarterback. That won't happen. They will have 2 ready. My hunch is 3 will be ready. And I think you're going to see them manage the early part of the season very different than they have in years past. I think you are going to, when the game is in hand, and it'll be in hand a lot that first month, you will get Howard out. You'll get Devin Brown in. He'll run the full complement of the offense. Then he'll get out, and Julian Sayin will pop in there. Or Lincoln Kienholz, whichever one of those two is the third guy. You will get I think you're going to see 3 quarterbacks play for this football team quite often, certainly in September, because I don't think they're going to allow themselves to be in that position again. Ryan Day with the press conference scheduled for 11:30, running a little bit behind up at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. He will address the quarterback situation. We know he's going to address it. The question is, will he announce it? In terms of other things you're looking for from Ryan Day, this is the first time that we've had a chance to check in with him in about a week. And so what is he seeing at camp? How are they rounding in? It's also the midway point of camp, too. We're 16 days from a game. So we were, August 1st, we were there for those first couple of practices. We're 2 weeks in, 2 weeks to go before you play in that opener. So those are kind of the things that you're wanting to hear from. In terms of other position battles, there's a little bit of offensive line stuff, but I think we've all kind of just assumed that you're going to be more than fine on that front. Everything that I'm hearing from camp is that the offensive line looks very solid. I think the other thing to remember on that front is a year ago, you did not have a threat at quarterback running, and you were so banged up at running back. You have 2 multiple 1,000-yard rushers now at running back in Judkins and Henderson. And then, of course, you have Will Howard, who is a more than willing runner at quarterback. And so the job of that offensive line is going to be easier because the threat to run is going to be so much more significant. So defensively, I know Jim Knowles is talking today as well. Chip Kelly's going to have a conversation on that side of it as well. My anticipation is that Ryan will go first, and then those 2 will follow, but we'll see. I don't know if they'll go at the same time or they'll kind of split it up as we go along. But those are kind of the big topic, the big topics you're expecting out of Ryan Day today. And again, the one we're most curious about is, are you ready to name a starting quarterback?
Yeah, and if we get that news, you mentioned 2 weeks. Man, I didn't think about it that way. Next week is week 0. We will have college football over the weekend next weekend. That's pretty cool. But that's where I want to get, because as far as what we know from Will Howard from his time at Kansas State, what we've seen in practice, what we've seen reported, what the coaches have said, what the guys have said in the room, it sounds like he can do everything except for the one thing I want to see. I don't know for sure whether or not this is something he can do every time or if it's something that it's going to connect to partial of the time, but it's the deep ball for him. That's the one where it's like he might not have the world's biggest arm, but also you have receivers that get Ohio State open, especially early in the season for the Buckeyes with that schedule. But that's the one that, I'm just waiting to see that in game. Is he going to connect on that first or maybe second deep ball attempt? Because they'll try to loosen him up there, too. Guy starting for his first time in the horseshoe. Let's get him a deep ball sometime, probably in the first half of the first game. And I want to see it connect.
Yeah. It's so we're waiting on Ryan Day at the Woody Hayes. Jerry, what are we doing? We're 7 minutes late here.
Still waiting.
I mean, come on.
We didn't say 30-ish.
30-ish? Yeah. 30-ish gets me, to me, that would give you I give you 11:33.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Plus or minus 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's ish.
Well, wasn't it last week it was going to be a 30-ish presser, and he didn't come on, and Rothman and Adam King carried him live at 12:05, 12:10.
Yeah, they had to come on and do what we're doing, wait for it to come on. So I've never understood this about football coaches. They are so into, you got to be on time. 15 minutes is actually on time. On time is late. And yet they're never on time for their press conferences.
I think they're like doctors.
Yeah.
Well,
what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it?
Sitting in that room when the door opens and everybody gets real quiet, and and I don't mean this as an insult, but it's just Jerry, and you're like, ah. I think that's what caught me off, because I assume the first thing that happens is the quarterback gets addressed. So it's like we want to be there right on time when he talks, because then, other questions they're important, not nearly as important. And I'm interested to see how, if any, there's any deviation from what Day says to what Chip says when Chip Kelly's given the opportunity to discuss QB1.
My hunch is they will be in lockstep on this, and it's probably a decision that they've made together, and one that was trending in this way for a little bit of while. Yeah, Jerry is basically, if you're the first time you go see a new doctor and you get in that room, like you do you get weighed and you do the blood pressure and all of that, and then you get to the room and then somebody opens the door and it's like the nurse instead of the doctor. Yeah. Like, you again? I just saw you. What do we need more? You're going to tell me what the doctor's going to do when he gets in here? I know what he's going to do. He's going to talk. We're going to talk about things. Like, same thing here. Like, you don't need a door to open until Ryan walks in. You go, okay, there you go. There's your answer to that.
Another Big Daddy reference. We had a reference to the Jets yesterday. It's like Jerry Emig, we wasted the good surprise on you. And now everybody's not going to get quiet when Ryan Day walks in. Then they're going to be like, oh, he's here.
Yeah. It would be pretty surprising to me if they keep this up. If they keep up we're still battling it out. I don't. Everything that you hear from camp, everything you hear from the players who are there is that they are long past still battling it out. So,
well, they're doing another one of these next Thursday, as in a Ryan Day is available after practice, and I won't ever put a time on it because you're kidding me, folks. Like, they'll say a time, but we'll have it when he's talking.
Yeah.
But they have one of these, and I wonder, because there's a scrimmage again on Saturday. I don't know.
Do you need to see more?
I don't think so. And even for the team's probably good. Like, the guys in the locker room are like, yep, no, we know who the guy is.
And now they're certainly talking like that. I mean, that's the tone you get from the players. So.
And you ask, do you need to see more? No, I don't think you do. And the more beneficial thing now would be to have the situated quarterback who gets to practice as the true QB1, gets most of the reps with the ones. And I think they were already leaning towards that based on what we've seen. We have not seen every practice, but it feels like they were already leaning towards that with Will, as those 4 days that we did get to see went on. And there hasn't been any reporting or anything that says otherwise so far, but we haven't heard from them in a while. Last week was such an inundation of Buckeye content. All the players came out, all the coaches came out. And this week it's been very silent, but they're still practicing.
Yeah, it's the, in the NFL, all of this stuff is open. So media is at everything, and so you're able to see everything with your own eyes. So when people say, well, Deshaun Watson's not looking that good, you can go, I actually was there, and he looked very good for half of it, and we watched with our own eyes. The thing that's hard here on the college level, and I'm gracious of and so thankful for what Ohio State has allowed for us to see this year. This is more than we've ever seen. We got 4 practices and a 5th the following week when Big Ten was here. So you got really 5 practices to take a look about their operation. But to your point, they've been behind closed doors now for about a week. And so what we saw in that early time was trending this way, but you don't know what's happening behind closed doors. I do think all the pieces matter for them. I think the way they handled those first practices matter. I think the way that they handle their social media in terms of the players they're highlighting, I think that matters too. And I think it would be important for this to be done and this conversation to be over, and then let's go get a quarterback ready. I think that's where we're at.
One more thing you mentioned was the offensive line in that competition. It does sound like that one is a good competition. It's not like, man, none of these guys are the right fit. Kind of like with the injuries, what the Browns are going with through left tackle. None of the guys who are in right now are going to steal that job. It sounds like the battle for right guard is truly just because they're both really good, or all 3 of them. There's a lot of guys circling in and out, but it sounds like it's going to be Shabola now in that spot, but we'll see.
The good news is Michigan's got the 2 returning All-Americans on the defensive line, so that's a long ways out there. And Oregon will be the other huge test. Iowa's defense is really good, so that'll be a test on the 5th. That'll be a pretty robust test, and then you're going to get a big one on the 12th. So you got time, whichever way you go on the offensive front, you got time to work them in and get them ready to roll a little bit. This is, to take you guys behind the curtain, this is a classic, if we take a break, he will go to the podium.
Yes.
If we don't take a break, he won't come until 11:50.
It's like Schrodinger's press conference. If we open the box, then the press conference starts. If we leave the box closed, it doesn't.
Yeah. So the initial plan was here for us to carry about 10 minutes of this and hopefully get the answer that we're kind of all waiting on here. And I'm willing to hold on to that if for nothing else, so you get the start of it. Because I do think probably right out of the gates is you're going to get an answer on how this will go. It'll be among the first topics. And meantime, we got Reese trying to listen to a room.
What's going on
Just
in the room right now?
full of people talking. Like this
a room full of people talking. That's where we are. All right.
I'll tell you this.
Yep.
I think we can manage if we fulfill commercial obligations. But I'm going to leave it up to you.
So you think commercial obligations fulfill that now?
And we will be fulfilled on the back end.
Okay. Well, there's a tease, kids. That's all you need. That's what we'll do. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. Pretty hot this summer, huh? This kind of heat makes me want to invent something that cools everything off. Well, they did invent the air conditioner.
Get Eco.
ECO. Get Eco today, and we'll fix your AC today. Your house will be cool like snow. Cool like an ice rink. Fixed in a blink. Faster than you can think. Our plumbers can even fix your sink. Well, plumbing won't help much with the heat. But yeah, we can fix your sink and anything else that has pipes attached to it.
Get Eco.
ECO. When your house is cool, your people are cool. Our HVAC technicians can be at your house today and quickly repair your air conditioner today. Fix the sink and cool off with a drink. Ooh, I need to invent a new drink. I'll bring the ice.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Let's talk about your sleep, specifically if you're not getting enough of it. If you're feeling groggy all day because you didn't sleep well, that is an awful feeling. I've been there. And if you're snoring when you sleep, well, that could be a big reason why you aren't feeling rested. This fact surprised even me the first time I heard it, and that is as you age, your risk of having obstructive sleep apnea nearly doubles. That's right. You need to find out if your snoring is related to sleep apnea, because if it is, there's actually help available for you right now. Dr. Mark Levy is board certified in the treatment of sleep apnea, and he offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that effectively treats sleep apnea. I have been telling you about this for years. And maybe you've been snoring for years. Now's the time to get this fixed. Plus, most Medicare patients have little to no out-of-pocket costs for this treatment. So you need to stop putting it off. Don't ignore your snore. Get your sleep apnea treated by calling Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Get the life back you deserve. Call Dr. Mark Levy today, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Boss on your back? Break away from the office and head on over to Delaware Golf Club. Grab a group, play 18, and afterwards unwind with a drink by the Fire Pit Bar and Patio. Online booking makes it easy to secure your tee time. So come check out Central Ohio's home for premier golf at Delaware Golf Club.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Having your fantasy football league draft party at your house? Order Giannino's Family Feast and make it your fantasy football league feast. Giannino's, with locations in Pickerington and Westerville.
Are you or a loved one struggling with addiction? Pinnacle Treatment and Recovery Works are here to help guide you on a path to a better life. We offer residential addiction treatment, detox, and opioid treatment programs throughout Ohio that fit your unique needs. We make it easy to get started. We accept Medicaid, most commercial insurance, and our access center is open 24/7. A better life is possible. Visit pinnacletreatment.com/Ohio. Where there is treatment, there is hope.
The delicious ice-cold taste of Dr. Pepper has a lasting effect on people. Lindsay from Sacramento said,
Pro tip, 40 degrees is the perfect temperature for an ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
why is 40 degrees the perfect temperature for Dr. Pepper? We brought in Sue from Duluth, Minnesota to tell us.
Oh, yeah, I know a thing or two about cold. Oh, that right there is the perfect kind of ice cold for Dr. Pepper.
I'd share that with my friend Nancy. She likes Dr. Pepper, too, you know. My whole
All
list...
right, that'll be all, Sue. Having a perfect temperature for your Dr. Pepper? It's a pepper thing. Inspired by real fan posts.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
What do we have in the poll today, Reese?
What should have been on the daily fan poll is, will this press conference start before noon? 1,000% of you would have been like, yes. However, actually, I do think Austin Ward said when he was on in for Bob Morning Juice, it would start at 12:03, and he's closer to being right than Ohio State is to actually honoring the 11:30 time announcement. But the daily fan poll asks, which conference will put the most teams into the inaugural 12-team college football playoff? SEC's got 55% of respondents. Big Ten's got 43% of respondents. Nobody thinks the ACC's putting the most teams. Big 12, 1% there.
My ponies? Get my ponies in there with Miami and Florida State and Clemson? Is that the idea? I suppose. To me, the Big Ten, it feels like has a hard cap at 3. I think they're getting 3, and that's it. I think the SEC has at least 3, at most 4. I think they'll make up 7 of the 12, with 2 of those being automatic. So that means 5 of the remaining 7 will be from that conference, and it could be more. I think you'll be lucky if the ACC gets a second. I don't see any scenario where the Big 12 does. My hunch is that league just cannibalizes itself.
It feels like to me, it's going to be 4 from the Big Ten and the SEC, 2 in the ACC, and 1 from the Big 12, and then 1 from the Power 5, or the Group of 5, sorry.
And the Group of 5 and the Big 12 would be automatic qualifiers based on,
so they don't have to be in the top 12,
highest rated Group of 5. So that's the way that will go there. Nothing.
This isn't really crickets because it's just people talking. One of the SIDs, I think I forget his name, walked up and it got quiet again, and I was like, "No, you're not the guy. You're not who we're looking for, sir."
We're going to have it one way or the other, whether it's on this one or whether it's on Rothman and Ice coming up next. One way or the other, you're going to hear Ryan Day, and hopefully it happens relatively soon. Let's hit 3 things on a Thursday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
Number 1 for me is 11:30 has to be 11:30. That's it. Like, I talk to my wife all the time. Being late, I can't stand it. So get it together, Buckeyes. Like, let's go. If it's going to be 11:30, then be at 11:30. We can all tolerate 11:35, but 11:51 and still counting? What are we doing here, guys? Let's lock it up.
I'm totally with you. And it really bothers me when something out of my hands makes me late to something. It really bothers me. But some people are just late to everything. Not saying Ryan Day is one of that, but there are people who are that. I'm sure you have them in your life. Dustin Schutte, he was passing this along, covers the Big Ten. After spending a full day in West Lafayette, Dave Revson is convinced Ryan Walters' squad will finish much higher than 18th in the Big Ten, where they were voted in preseason voting. He said, quote, "I look at this team, I don't think there's any way this is the worst team in the Big Ten. I don't think it's particularly close," end quote. Okay, well, then who is the worst?
Who is particularly close?
You can't say X team isn't insert superlative here and not give the team that is that. Worst and best are both absolute values, so somebody has to be last. So who is last? I think Dave was just being nice to Purdue. They were nice enough to let Big Ten Network come in and do that. And so I'm not really calling him out, but I think we have a responsibility. If we say, I don't think they're the worst, you have to say who is then.
I mean, is it Indiana?
It's Purdue.
UCLA.
I think it's Purdue.
I think it's Purdue, too.
First thing for me, I'd saved this from yesterday. So this was Tuesday night. Emmanuel Clase notched his 4th straight save. The Guardians beat the Cubs. They took the brooms to the Cubbies yesterday. He's got 37 saves on the season, so that's the most in the bigs. I heard a lot of chatter from Guardians fans that he should be the Cy Young winner from the American League. I don't disagree that he should be in contention, but Mariano Rivera never won the Cy Young. And the last AL Cy Young winner to be a closer was Dennis Eckersley back in 1992. He was also the AL MVP that season for the Oakland Athletics. So I think Clase is one of the best, is the best closer in the league, should be in consideration for the AL Cy Young. Giving it to a closer, man, it's just improbable.
So you got to be, Rivera never won the Cy Young?
No, he finished top 3 several times.
But he never won it.
Never won AL Cy Young.
And yet he's the first guy to be unanimously voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
If the Sandman didn't get, then, Clase, as great as he is.
Not Ruth, not Gehrig, not Mays. He was the first one with a completely perfect ballot, and he did not win a Cy Young. That's pretty wild. Number 2 for me, NBC, 7th grader. We're off. First football scrimmage. This will be the first time that he is going to play a football game that I have not been on the staff. It's just a scrimmage, but it is wild, like not being a part of it. I miss it desperately. I'm excited for him, though, to hear new voices, and he's having a hell of a time. But he's going to start at safety, and we'll see how it goes this afternoon.
First tackle football game, too?
Oh, no. He's played tackle for the last 2 years. But
okay.
Now he's playing like middle school football, so that's a different animal entirely.
Got it. This one, again, I'm not calling anybody out. I don't have a problem with it. In fact, T-Bone had a vacation this week, and they like to send out emails so we know things about our staff. It was his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, T-Bone. But nobody really prepared me for this in adult life. I have been continually surprised year over year how many people take a vacation on the week of their birthday or take just the specific day off. I thought as an adult, you just worked on your birthday if it was a weekday, but so many people take it off. More power to them. You got your vacation, use it, but I just wasn't prepared for so many people to be off on their birthdays. Happy birthday, T-Bone.
I'll second the happy birthday thing, but I will also say, yeah, if it is your birthday and you can take it off, take it off. You enjoy that day. Rothman and Ice are up next from 12 to 3. DeVere Posey's going to be in for AR. Maybe you'll get Ryan Day. I don't know. I do know Stephen Means. Well, Stephen Means is scheduled for 12:33. He covers Ohio State for Cleveland.com. But it looks like Stephen's going to be covering Ryan Day, who you may or may not get in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, Bob texted me and he said that the thing is after practice, and practice is going a little bit long, which is fine. Then just don't put a time on.
Just
say
noon
30.
Just say 10 minutes after practice.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Leave it nebulous, and then no one plans for it. Number 3 for me, I saw that Notre Dame is doing a Hard Knocks-style docuseries. It's going to air on Peacock. They've done this before to varying degrees. Somebody asked me, do you think the Buckeyes would be open for this for Fox? Yeah, I think they would, and I think you'll see more of it.
But you talk about a lot of times once you put the kids to bed, it's time to watch a show. But most shows now are the hour-long variety. And we've been watching Silicon Valley. I've mentioned that a couple of times this week, and we've been flying through it because they're 30 minutes long. I wish we had more 30-minute shows. It's a great vehicle for sitcoms, so I get why they're basically all comedies in the 30-minute time frame. But the 22 to 30-minute commitment versus a 44 to 60-minute commitment when it's already 9:30 or so much easier to go into. You can watch so many more episodes, so I want good stopping points. So I get that drama works better in a 60-minute time frame, but maybe just split those episodes into 30s and I can cut in the middle. Do things for me, Netflix.
Final thing for me, I know a question that you can ask Ryan Day and Chip Kelly that's not quarterback related. Is it J.J. Smith or is it Jeremiah Smith? What would he prefer to be called, please?
That'd be nice. That'd be nice to know. All right. Potentially, Ryan's going to come up here shortly. Potentially, the guys with Rothman and Ice are going to have it. We believe that they will, provided that it happens here in the next few minutes. Sometimes gutters and strikes, right, kids? We waited for Ryan, never really got there. So hopefully we'll get an answer and have the full reaction for it coming up tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
The only show where sports talk is eclipsed by food talk. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
Oh, look at some NFL season-long player props for the most regular season rushing yards this year. Christian McCaffrey is the favorite at 6-1. Second in the odds is Jonathan Taylor at plus 750. Breece Hall of the Jets is third at 8-1, and Bijan Robinson is plus 950. New teams this year, but Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley are both 10-1 to have the most regular season rushing yards. For your Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
It's Logan Services 55th anniversary sale. Replace your air conditioner and save up to 55% on a qualifying Trane furnace. Take action with a free estimate. Fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and this month 0% financing is back by popular demand on the 2024 Toyota Tundra for 48 months. But hurry in before they're gone. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com for details. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky with approved credit, tax title, and $250 doc fee not included. Offer ends August 30th.
Think Toyota. Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Have you ever heard someone say that they just don't make or do things like they used to? While that may be true for many things, there is one company who strives to deliver the customer experience and quality product that we all reminisce about. And that company, well, it's Newman Roofing. You can read it time and time again in their reviews, how much they truly care about their customers and the roofs that they install. And I should know, they installed a roof for me and my family, and it was tremendous. Their sales team was fantastic, and the quality was phenomenal. They strive to leave the home as they found it. And some customers say they even leave it cleaner than it was before, and I can second that. Not only do they install a quality product that is going to protect your home and family for years to come, but they also walk away leaving you feeling confident that you hired the right company. Whether you need a roof repair or replaced, call the company that families have been trusting for 32 years, and that company is Newman Roofing. 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
End the summer with Zumbizi Bay. Soak up the sunshine and dive into an unforgettable experience for the whole family. Get your tickets now and make your final splash at ZumbiziBay.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.